you, and you thought we was going away. Nah, it's Speak Out.
But let me just reverse a bit and say good morning to the listeners of Vibes. Welcome to the program.
If I stay within my setting as a public officer, as the public relations officer, and I stay just within the office space and do not go out to the public, how will we understand what is happening on the ground?
Still delivering.
We've done a lot, not just in terms of the general infrastructure, but homes, support to farmers, support to fishermen, etc. And as time goes by, more support will be given to Carriacou and Petit Matli.
It's Speak Out Unfiltered. Built back, even better to last.
Let us all strive to build a better country by putting aside our petty grievances and move forward with dignity, being proud of working hard and working together.
Anything that we're doing now, it's futuristic thinking. It's not for the now.
Education is the key in a country's development. That's it. If its people are not developed,
Even though go that far, no? Just remember knowledge is power. When you know, you know.
that's it.
It's Speak Out Unfiltered.
We're happy to have you.
On Vibes 101.3 and 106.3 FM every Thursday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Do you feel the vibes? Going.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and guests and not the views of this radio station.
Just like to take a time and say good morning to you right here on Vibes FM. Welcome to the program Speak Out for today, Thursday, the 22nd day of May. Good morning to the listeners in the tri-island state of Carriacou, Petit Matli, Grenada. Good morning, and our neighbors next door, St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Good morning to you as well. And those of you on the internet in the diaspora, so many of you have already been online. Good morning to you. Do Facebook, good morning. YouTube, good morning. We're saying good morning to all, wherever you're in your comfort zone. Listening to the program as you have always been doing. It's always a pleasure having you here with us. To remind you, the program is interactive. You can always call us. And when we open up the lines at 443-0101, 443-0101, 403-0101, 403-0101, and also 458-1914, 458-1914. I noticed that we already seen quite a number of our listeners there and some of the messages coming in on the WhatsApp as well. But before we go into that, let me go over to Coy and say good morning to you, Coy. Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning to you, Kim, and it's such a always a pleasure, privilege to be part of Speak Out Unfiltered, and of course, understanding the concept of Speak Out Unfiltered, where we have an opportunity to engage each other, talk about the things that affect us, and examine stuff, because we do need to, as a people, come together and discuss the things that we would like to see happen, and things that are happening. And so I'm glad that I'm here again to continue, and of course, glad to have by my side there. So Leo, I mean, there are times when you have to wonder, when you look at the register and you see apps and you see a space, a blank space, you ain't show up. You have to put absent. But I'm glad this morning that I can proudly put tick present. So Leo, welcome, and it's nice.
So Leo, good morning.
Well, I must indeed respond to my colleague before I get to you, my redeemer. Observation noted.
Okay.
And thank you, my Redeemer, as usual.
Yeah.
Well, I have a few little philosophies to throw on my good friend this morning. Number one is that cream will float. And indeed, you can sink a cock. So that being the case, I intend this morning to celebrate Mr. Cox's political repast. If you understand.
I had to say on that.
Repass.
Repass.
Political, eh?
Political.
Well, I was
Okay.
wondering.
All right.
Listen to the words I want to go and say I wish him on it. No.
Repass.
Repass. Political repass. Not the actual repass.
Yeah,
Political
okay.
repass.
Yeah.
So we'll deal with that today.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
But-
Well,
Because
Yeah. Go ahead.
you must be totally blind. Totally blind to not see the difference. You know, if you're a Karaquan and you lived here for any length of time, as my good friend did, you must honestly see the difference. And, you know, it's so very obvious, and not what was done, but what we are doing and what we will do.
Mhm.
You know, promises, most of the promises made were kept. In a few instances, Beryl intervened and we have to will and come again, but we're coming. So I would indeed ask that you leave the goodly Deacon Mitchell alone to execute what he has in him, the goodness of his heart.
Mhm.
Yeah?
No,
And
you're right about that. Yeah.
I'm telling you.
No, because as you just mentioned, Cox there, I mean, it's very surprising to me. He's still uttering the words of nothing happened in Karaku. He doesn't see this, and he doesn't see this government as being doing anything as compared to what the previous administration was doing. I mean, it's utter rubbish. You know, you look at it, you listen to him.
Mhm.
And sometimes, you know, when I look at him, you know, I feel sad because I know him to be a good boy, you know, and I'm dressing that, you know, with respect, you know.
Well, I didn't know I could understand someone being loyal, but there is no need to send Diablo to heaven when you go to hell.
Yeah.
Because the Apollo was on the thief, you know, people always say that.
those who encourage it,
Yes, and if you pick up the lie and just distributing it
wholesale.
Mm-hmm.
you'll pay the price for that.
Yeah.
So we must be honest, you know. Of course, we know we have our different sides and little differences political. But for Christ Almighty's sake, when you see the real deal, well, surrender, no, man.
So who said they uttered the deal?
No, that is Donald Trump.
I know. Yes.
Donald Trump. Surrender, man. Cut it out and let's say, well, I can't beat them. Let me join them and move on.
But even though you don't want to join them, but at least you have to speak the truth. And that is the issue here. You cannot see something is blue, for example. And because you don't like the color blue, you manufacture a color and say that's orange. I mean, be truthful. What you see is what it is. And I stand there and I don't understand. Well,
but I observe that you've been very politically correct, because I was expecting you to say you can see something yellow and say it's green. But I listened to you. Go
by
ahead.
the way, I didn't. When I was saying it, I thought about it in the sense that one of our colleagues there is orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just the color just come out. But I'm just saying, I understand what you're saying. I have to be politically correct.
Yes, I understand. I don't.
Yeah, but what you're saying, Sally, you know, it makes a lot of sense. Eh? And I still can't understand, you know, for whatever reason, he continues to bash Karikou, to say negative things about Karikou. He was on a program, I think it's yesterday.
No, Tuesday.
Tuesday, right?
Tuesday,
Yeah.
yes.
And I listened to some people making comments, you know, and listening to him, you know, and it's amazing that he's still, you know, saying this thing. As a matter of fact, you know, they generated two names that we might be using in the very near future: Lion Cox and Leopold Cox. Leopold Cox and Lion Cox. Both of them, you know,
But they both have lie in them.
they both have them. But you see what is happening to the surname Cox is getting a kind of negative
No, and that,
conversation.
no, but and that shouldn't be, because the Cox in Carriacou are very well-known and respectable Carriacouans,
Right. Yeah.
and we want to keep them on that level, on that plateau. We don't want to just.
I remember Nelson Cox.
Of course,
Yes,
I
Nelson
mean,
Cox.
Nelson Cox was. I mean, growing up here, I
Yeah.
know he was an administrator.
Mhm.
He was the one, guiding the political process here.
Yeah.
In Carriacou. I mean,
As a matter of fact, he was my boss,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, when you were in customs.
Yeah, not customer treasury.
Treasury.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but actually he was in charge of, you could say, call the whole administration
Yeah.
operation in Carriacou.
Yeah, that's the way it was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember him. I mean, and,
What they used to call them, the revenue officer? What? No, not revenue.
No,
officer.
district officer.
District officer.
District officer.
District officer.
Yeah,
Yes.
so, yeah, D1.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, you know that.
Yeah.
You worked under him.
Yeah.
But again, like you just mentioned, the respect that they have gotten over the years.
Yeah, you cannot squander it like that.
No. It's
Foolishness.
exactly.
And for who?
Yeah. Diablo.
I think that is the $1 million question. And for who?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
Who you doing it for?
I mean, if your eyes are opened, you should see the fate of the people who preceded you.
Yeah.
None in the past so good,
Yeah.
Including who was supposed to be the best ever
Mm-hmm.
representative for Carriacou, the late Elvin Nimrod.
Right.
Mhm. You didn't treat him so good, so well. Why other people expect
Betterment.
betterment? No. No, better must come, but better gone.
Mhm.
Better gone in that regard. So let's try at this point now, this junction, to say let's do something for Carriacou that's positive, and we must continue rebuilding. Yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, we can afford to go back down there again. You after 30 some odd years, a promise that was never fulfilled. How much more time you want to prove that it will not be fulfilled?
Mm-mm.
No.
No. I heard him made a statement, and it's coming, I think, from the entire group of them,
Mhm.
Diablo and his colleagues, or concubines, whatever we want to say, and they trying to question, the monies that was given, that was from the insurance of
Correct.
burial,
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
and trying to ask questions, the 119 million or whatever million, where did it go and what happened and here and there, and started asking all these questions, and I just wonder sometimes, that they should go back to school and start doing some maths, in my view, because when the assessment was done for the damages caused by burial in Carriacou and Pitimatnik in particular, it was estimated some in the region of $650 million,
Mhm.
And if you were to get a contribution, say of 100+ million, that's just a little drop in the bucket to see if you could start rebuilding, and which that was for the entire state of Grenada, Carriacou, Pitimatnik. So some of the funds too were in Grenada, given to farmers, fishermen, and all these things like that. The thing that money is money. That money is not money when you have all these expenses, these damages that you have to try to do. And they keep asking the question, how much million, wherever, where you go, and this and that. These people need to just go back to school and do some maths. And I think this is where education, which the Prime Minister been, talking about, for the longest while there.
I guess the answer to that question is, where that money go? Let them go look for it, and I'm pretty sure in the searching, you'll also find the monies that the Polishman gave to the South St. George
constituency, yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
They could find that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what was done for that, I don't know. But I see a lot of homes being built back better. I see we can't talk about the recreation now again because grass growing there now. Right? So I could see better road being built or finished for a crisis, but now just the small part on top.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many years it took us to get that done, and who did it? Yeah.
And he made as you just mentioned, the Bella Road,
Uh-huh.
he made a comment about the Bella Road, and you're saying that the road started off in 2023,
Yes.
right?
Uh-huh.
And this is 2025, and he ain't
Yes.
complete yet. But hold on, what he's failing to say. 2023, the road started to the latter part of the year.
Uh-huh.
And before the half of the year was there, we had burial that came in. And for approximately 6 months plus, nothing was done, nothing could have been done because of the devastation of which the island was in, right? So we rallied out 24 into 25. They just about completing it now. But you want to make it sound like, 23, 24, 25, and you can't finish, what's going on, whatever. I mean, the hypocrisy in these people's, statements, it's unreal. Why?
And the danger of that hypocrisy is that the vulnerable population that they created believe in that kind of nonsense. They took every ounce of reason, every ounce of rationale from this side people. And if you tell them that there's a plane leaving for the moon tomorrow, they're going to the airport.
And they're saying what seat they want.
I know,
I recall quite a number of even before Beryl came in, Senator Cox was always on about the Bella Road. This didn't do right, and this didn't do right, and engineering problems here, and so on. He always criticizing, but I didn't realize he would have forgotten to mention that Beryl came and cut and cause the project to hold up. So he's still, even after Beryl now, when things are at far advanced, almost ready to be opened and completed, he's still saying, giving the impression, not even saying, giving the impression, hey, listen, that this thing started so long and them guys ain't doing anything. And look, in 2025, and nothing is happening. I mean, it's
the hypocrisy, like I said, this is what exists in this guy's mind, and trying to mislead the public,
Well, forget that. The gentleman don't even have to leave his house. He'll get up in the morning and stand on his veranda and see the new fish house that is completed and opened in Winwood.
Yeah.
Quite a facility.
State of the art.
I mean, nobody have to bring message for you, You see, we'll mention it, man.
When you going to step to brush your teeth?
Yes.
You know, we're going to step in one brush your teeth.
That was the bathroom. What else you have again? So,
wash your face.
Wash your face. Yeah, man. So, these things, but people keep saying, well, you talk about these people and these things too much. Don't talk about it because you're just making them more popular. I ain't trying to give them, I want them to gain popularity, I'm just trying to save the souls, the vulnerable souls that are in a comatose stage. In a coma, they can't understand what's going on around them. And since this guy has created this aura, this sense of, the minister or the government officials, there's somebody sent from heaven, and they're like the Pope. They're infallible, they can make mistake. So that you don't want to touch on anything at all. Oh my goodness, the minister represents you, or ministers represent you. So they create that kind of a feeling around so that nobody's going to challenge them. And so no matter how much wrong they do, they get a round of applause from the poor and vulnerable crowd because they don't want to be affected by that. So sad.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening here.
And just misleading everyone.
Yeah.
Misleading them.
Yes.
On truth. Because I saw again, that they took a photo of the housing that's going on right now, the prefab and the down in Dumfries. And they took a photo. And the photo that they took, right? They tried the camera, to angle it in a particular way to get a message out there that the location is no good and the houses are not built properly and all this kind of negative stuff like that. And if you were to go there in person and you observe the building of this prefab and all these houses that they're trying to give to the residents who are in need, you'd be very, very well applauding the government for what they are doing. But they are not in any way. And the next thing I heard them making comments about is that the building is taking progress right now, okay? And during that stage, with all the excavation going on and all these things like that, the houses, the around, or the pathway to get into the houses now is all dirt. And when you have rain falling, definitely you're going to have mud. But they are not yet complete because the intention of the government is to put a good cement, proper road so people could have good access to their facility. But they can't wait for that to happen before they start speaking and say, when you have to go into the house or go to the go inside the mud and all. Really, nothing of substance. Reasoning. Can they reason and just be positive or say something good rather than just trying to be so negative all the time?
Let them talk. Because I tell you what, how long we've been promised a proper facility? It's happening now. So it's a strong possibility that the next Serena Williams could be coming from Kako, Mosi Posishu, Mosi Leicester, could be Belmont or Winwood, because we are indeed, the lines are drawn and our tennis facility is being built.
And listen, do you realize that they're building 2 tennis courts? Not one,
Well, I mean,
2.
for standards and for regional standards and so on, they have to have it at a higher level.
Yeah, 2 tennis courts right now are being constructed. I spoke to the contractor just yesterday.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Well, that's what you just mentioned is a new ball you just served me.
So put your bat close to your pad and go forward.
Yeah, man.
And smother the spin there. Yes, don't try and hook.
Scott, hold on a second. Vibe FM, let me start to open the line. Vibe FM, caller your live. Caller, come in. Hello, yes.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Yeah.
Good morning.
I am sorry to be so prompt this morning, but I have to go to a funeral later.
Okay.
And I want to get my little bit in before I go. But I must congratulate you, gentlemen, this morning. You all are very much on the ball and, have already mentioned just the sort of thing I want to mention. In considering what you said about Cox. Now, Cox has been on this To the Point program for quite some time. And as far as I'm concerned, he was extremely dishonest every time I come on this program. For example, when he's talking about he can't see nothing done in Carriacou, the government not doing anything, and if you have to get any assistance from the government, they have to know which party you belong to, and so on and so forth. No, Mr. Cox must not do this sort of thing. If they want to get into office, their first priority is to be honest with the people and come up with substantial policies that the people understand and support them on. Not come up with all this red herring and all this nonsense. You see, they must remember that some of us know our history and we have good memories. We recorded some of the things that NNP did in the term of office. It was plagued with corruption, spite, and victimization. And also that, the NDC is not doing what they should be doing. No, Cox really must stop blaming the NDC for the nasty things that NNP was doing for the 23 years. And also the trade union leaders, some of them too. Everybody from the diaspora, from anywhere could see the good things these young leaders in the NDC are doing. And why the NNP have to be so nasty? Let me lecture them also on the question of opposition. Opposition is not there to blame or bash government all the time. Opposition is part of the government, and they support the government when the government is doing good works, and not blaming them because every time they have to malign the government because they want to get into office. But they ain't going to get into office just like that, because the people have sense now and they realize the NDC is doing a lot more than what the NNP did in the number of years they were there. And let me say this also, I think I mentioned it last week. I'm still getting complaint that NNP getting houses, and I mean houses, before NDC when they apply and so on. So, and asking the NDC leadership, especially probably Mr. Andy Williams, no longer on that portfolio again, but look carefully in what the NNP who are in position of authority are doing. Please, because the NDC members, a lot of them are complaining to me that they're not getting the desired assistance they should get. Have a good morning, gentlemen, and
Okay.
thank you for listening to me.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me take another call while the call is waiting. Caller, thank you for waiting. Caller, come in. Caller, you next.
Hello, good morning to you,
Yes.
to everyone on the panel.
Yes.
I just want to say, I happen to put my Facebook page on, and the first person that I can see is Nolan Cox's page, where he was saying that we should fix the bus terminal, take out the worst photographs, maybe after the burial he must have taken that out. It's actually facing the office of them.
Yeah.
And he's saying that we should do something about it. The people are getting wet and all sorts. And do you know what some of his supporters say? I usually read some of the comments because they're so stupid. One of them is saying, yes, Mr. Cox, I want you to expose them. I want you to drive around and see what needs to be done. You see, you mentioned about the jetty, and now the jetty, they're doing the winter jetty. You mentioned about whatever, you see, they do it. So that is how ignorant and imbecile these supporters are. They really have no common sense whatsoever. You should drive around and see what needs to be done.
Yeah.
And if you say it,
Yeah.
it will fix it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is all I have to say. I get it off my chest. So you have a blessed day and a blessed weekend.
Okay,
Thank
caller. As this caller just mentioned there, this is something that was talked about too, that Cox, made the statement about, the bus terminus, is in bad condition, whatever. Well, let me say this much, I mean, we don't have in my view, that's not really even a bus terminus, is a shed that's put over a couple of seats, and it's the shed, the covering is maybe just about, in my view, about 10 feet of galvanized over people's head where they sit down on the sort of like benches, just waiting for the bus, and that is what he's talking about now. Now, apparently, with Hurricane Beryl and the age of that too, there's leaks and things like that, in the area over people's head. So now, when you go there, if there's a rain, then you might be sitting on the seat and then you might find you've fallen down, rain getting wet. But the thing about it is, as this caller just mentioned, it's facing his constituency office. Mm-hmm. Well, oh my gosh, if you want to do something for Karaku, go cover it now. Go and just get some governors and cover it. I mean, do something. Let people see you doing something. Don't talk about you do things and nobody knows what you do because you're saying, oh, I help people and I help this and I help that, whatever. No names mentioned, no nothing. This thing is just ad-lib that they're getting at. I mean, why don't he challenge him? Go and get galvanized and get his workmen and go and fix it. Do something for Karaku for once.
I don't think the interest is in fixing anything. The interest is in bashing all those.
But fix.
Well, no. If they fix it, what do you bash? Who do you bash? If they fix it.
But is that in his view, it's an eyesore from where he sits in the constituency office, and he's seeing these things happening to his people, and he cares about the people, and he wouldn't do nothing about the people. Do nothing for the people. Let me take a call. Hold on. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, the caller just dropped. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
As far as I could see, you have to be a little more reasonable with the people. You must understand that they're running out of issues. So whatever little they could hold on to is like a drunken man. They'll hang on to a straw. They have nothing that they could complain about. Not one day I heard him mention anything about even how the new education system that was employed is assisting students of Karaku. You don't have any time for that? Uh-huh. No, so there is negativity all the way through.
But did he mention? Sorry, did he mention about the cassava machine that came that way we can now produce farine?
Nothing.
Did he mention that?
No, he doesn't talk about nothing positive and nothing that has taken place in Karaku. All he sees is nothing. He's bashing all the time. Nothing much been done. Nothing at all. Nothing.
Well, I mean, is that it is going to take too long to complete, and being the lone road, the main road to Princess Royal Hospital, I think that that approach, that policy approach in terms of doing the work is not one that is fitting and appropriate, and I advise the government that they should immediately issue a contract and have the road done as quickly as possible. So that is the major stuff that I know. And then another project that I know is a fish center. We know what Michelle spoke about the last time. It's just a few minutes away from where I live, and that is a well.
You just spoke about the fish center, you see, and it's just a few minutes away from where you live.
Project, but the fishermen are going to be happy for that, and the facilities needs to be demolished, and so that is good. I think there's some work being done in Mount Pleasant School, but apart from that, it's just small things, some drains and.
I mean,
the only thing you can tell them is the small things that they do was big things for them because they never did it.
Yeah. They never did it.
Yes.
They never did
it's
nothing.
too big for them to do it, but we do it.
No,
small things, yes.
But as far as you concerned, doing nothing in Carriacou, nothing at all. Bashing straight. That's it.
You mentioned Mount Pleasant Government School. Isn't there, aren't there works been done or started getting in shape at Dover Government School, not too far from where is there?
The Mount Pleasant Government School is complete. You guys realize, I don't know because you would see to anyway. That school, I mean, it's been
it's really, a complex, you know?
Yeah, it's a complex. It's a complex.
As far as I'm concerned, you know, not just a standard one and a big school.
No, it is very impressive.
Yeah,
what they have done. This government is moving. This government is doing as much, and the record pace they're going. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. But in the eyes of Cox, where you talk about they ain't doing nothing at all, and Leopold Cox might be saying the same thing just now too.
No, leave him out of it. Yeah, because I spoke with the gentleman, and by the way, he's my cousin. I want to bashing him.
No, we ain't bashing him.
Your cousin?
In-law.
In-law. Oh,
so,
by blood.
Vibes FM. Yes, come in.
Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning. You know, listening you all on Cox. Remember, Cox is an NNP. And it seems like once you become an NNP, especially in the front line, it seems like a line spirit will stick you. That you will see all the things going on. You'll watch the light come on in the night, and you're still saying you know no electricity. Okay, your house in that. How you could be living in Carriacou and telling, well, I don't believe he's speaking to the people in Carriacou. I guess he may be speaking to people in Venezuela. Because Grenadians going up in Carriacou every now and again, and they come back down and see what they see. Right? But Cox is saying nothing is happening. There should be a law in place to charge people for misleading others, you know. Because you're trying to educate a nation, and there are people who are really trying to put an end to that. And that is not just Cox, you know. MNP has the same thing. They have a habit saying that nothing is going on. But what has to be done, they want it done now. You spend 23 and a half years inside it as a party in government. You couldn't do these things. But this one just come, and from the night of the election with the bottom burning you just been up in the road, you want it done now. So everything must be done now. I don't know which government in the world do everything in one day. You make a start, there must be a continuation, and then there will be a completion. But them doesn't know that. When they were there, they knew nothing about that. That's why everything stayed in the pipeline, because they did not know how to start. And if you can't start, you can't continue, and you can't finish. But they have a problem now. Even what Andy were able to break the pipeline and get out for the government to work on, they have problem with it. Oh, it is an NNP project. What NNP project? These projects are the people and government, the government and people of Grenada. NNP ain't paying back for those loans. NNP did not go and negotiate loans. It was the government of Grenada that went and negotiate loans. So it is the government of Grenada to do the work and to complete it. They have problems with everything that this present government is starting and finish are continuing and finish from where they left off. But they should be praising the government, because when the NDC left office in 2013, they got a whole heaping set of projects that the NDC even secured finance for, including the Parliament building. That on the opening day, I heard hypocritically says, he called on Tillman and said that his project. But the others ain't realizing what happened in the country, because the eyes are blinded by mere politics. There is something I want to speak on in brief.
Yeah.
I was going to social media last night, and I saw a revolt in Ivory Coast. Okay?
Yeah.
That's in West Africa. That is the president. They say that the West is using him to have people go over to get rid of Traore. And the Africans in the last demonstration, they had vowed to get rid of him. Tell him if he touch Traore, they're coming for him. Well, all over social media last night, up to this morning, I'm looking at it. And until now, I've not seen nothing on mainstream media, like the BBC and CNN, nothing like that. Just like the match that took place in the 25th of May, they did not bring that in news at all. So they are covering up something. They don't want the world to know that Africa is changing. But I am happy that they are changing, but they're changing too slow. Good day.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, 443-0101, 443-0101, 403-0101, and 458-1914. Those of you on Facebook and YouTube, you'll notice that the numbers are scrolling on the bottom, and so you could call if you so wish to join the conversation. Listen to Cox yesterday. Tuesday.
Last time you was on the same program, I asked you what you did for Carriacou so far. And all you tell me that you helped somebody build some ranch. Senator Cox is unbelievable. You know what I mean? Because I want to know what you're doing for Carriacou. You come, you have so many answers and so many questions. I'm inviting you this Thursday to be on Vibes FM, because Kim and Leo have been trying to get to you and you've been dodging them. So I'm giving you an open invitation.
Thank you, Gigi. And I think this is probably my favorite person. Let me just say thank you to the caller. And first of all, the caller did indicate that my answers are too long, but the caller have to also bear in mind that he asked me about 5 or 6 questions. I've answered that question so many times, and I don't know. Maybe I should ask the question to the caller: is that what is it that he wants me to do for Carriacou? And then maybe the next time I come, I could tell him what I'm doing. But I'll reiterate again. I've been a Carriacouan for all my life. I've lived here for the majority of my life. I've worked as a public servant for 17 years. 15 years serving farmers in the farming community. 2 years serving as the administrator for the Princess Royal Hospital. So that is on the professional side. And the personal side is numerous to mention in terms of what I have done.
Listen, guys, let me tell you something I observed with Cox. Whenever he started stuttering and he started to laugh and stuff like that, listen to what's coming behind on truth.
In recent times, in terms of the hurricane, I continue to work with persons. I continue to help persons financially, labor, supplies.
You listen to that? Going through a whole list, we're just calling things, I call it ad lib. Persons, persons, not one, persons in what? What is he doing? He can't identify and say exactly what he's doing, because the last time when he was asked the question, he says he fixed his mother's house. You remember? He said to that.
And he didn't need any help.
He didn't know no help. He didn't have, yes, straight out. But now persons in this and persons in that, and administration giving out medications, and people sending up medication from Grenada to give to him, and he giving it out to people. Or
material-wise, wherever I can, I've been helping people.
Material where?
That's where exactly.
Wherever. No, that's it. Ad lib. We call it ad lib. You put a microphone in front of the mouth, they're just saying things just because they're not identifying and calling and says XYZ straight out, because, whatever reason, just talk.
I do own a pharmacy. I've been giving free medication wherever persons who can't afford. I've been doing it right after the hurricane. Look, I just had to relocate my pharmacy because where it was totally destroyed. I couldn't continue to operate it. So I'm at a new location, and we are still helping. I've been working with other pharmacies in Greater who have been sending stuff to donate, and I've been partnering with a gentleman, oh gosh, name slipped me right now.
Hold on, guys.
Other pharmacies.
Hold on. You partner with somebody, You listen to the words, You're partnering with somebody, and you don't remember the name.
You're so active, you can't remember the name. Yes.
The partnership is so good, and you're partnering with them to assist people, and the name slipping, Imagine that. Hold on. Rewind.
Who have been sending stuff to donate, and I've been partnering with a gentleman, oh gosh, name slipped me right now.
He partnered with a gentleman, he partnered with other people who in that issue, because they're sending things to him and when they send it to him, he's giving it out.
But you can't remember the name of the one he partnered with now. Imagine that. Salute.
You never forget. You never had anybody to begin with.
I'm telling you.
That's
just talking. And the statements they're making there is not true. That's the bottom line. And why are they doing that?
Who come to the pharmacy, who procure medicine, and we give out vouchers to persons in need. So I've been doing quite a lot. And we have more to do. And those things, for me, I don't have to
sound your horn. Do something because you ain't do nothing. You ain't do nothing. I mean, you listen to this dialogue,
but
just amazing.
You could believe that if you're not living here to see for yourself, I mean, but the callers earlier on said he wasn't speaking to us here in Carriacou, speaking to those who he can fool. And those who would believe his lies.
Well, then we're going to get back on that. Vibes FM caller, landline caller.
Yeah,
first.
hello, calling from the mainland.
Yes, go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, how are you guys doing up there?
Okay, not bad at all.
Thank you.
These NNP people, what they inherit the line or they know it, what happened to them? I want to know something straight up. Because them fellas are they don't talking the truth. None of them, by even a mistake, the tongue don't slip into talk the truth. It's just lies upon lies upon lies upon lies.
All the time.
I don't understand that. And you know who they're fooling? Those people who can think for themselves and reason for themselves. And they want to tell them a bridge break down the road there in town, in Granland, and they go into that, But a bridge now break down there. And that's what they're going with. Yeah. Anyway, I'm listening on and we have to keep focused because right now it's up and up we going.
That's it.
With Brother Deacon Mitchell, Prime Minister, Honorable Deacon Mitchell, and my representative in Northeast St. George's. A lot of work doing up here.
Nice.
All right.
Okay.
Good to hear.
All right. Thank you so much.
All you guys, Carriacou, we coming up sometime next month.
Yeah, 21st.
Around June.
Man.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Okay. Okay, next caller. Thank you for waiting. Caller, come in. Caller, hello.
Good morning, guys. Morning.
Yes, good morning. Yes.
Good morning.
How you all doing today?
Okay, all
Well,
right.
thank you. And yourself?
Yeah, all right. Kim,
Yes, go ahead.
a couple days ago, there was a host in Grenada made a statement about calling out on the NNP candidates to do something, do work, because they don't do nothing. So now he's highlighting the boss said now to say that he's doing something.
But he's not repairing it. He didn't make an attempt yet to do any repairs or nothing. He just highlighting that it's
Put it on Facebook, yeah, he just highlight it.
yeah.
Because there's a host. I don't know if you heard the host calling them and them, the NNP.
Yeah, yes, I know, I heard.
Right.
Yeah, right, okay.
Right. So now they will come out now, even the one of Grenville, Kate, the one always smiling, just with the lipstick. She will come out just now as well and post something. You watch in the next couple of days.
Okay.
They will all come out and post something, and they will do a little something, and they will go and post it on Facebook. You know.
Right.
And also, you hear any clip to the point. When Cox kind of it's calm like, yeah?
Yeah.
If you listen when he's talking about the money for the passport, same way. Same thing when you mention about he always stammers when he's lying.
Yeah. We noticed that.
Play the clip about the passport money and you hear him again. Same thing.
Okay. All right, caller. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Right. We keep the lines open. Okay, in case you want to call us, the lines are open. Okay, we open up all the lines now. Yeah, but this is something that they've been doing for a little while now, and they're just trying to just create this negative vibes over and over. But I would say do something about if the bus terminals galvanized need to change. It's right in front of your constituency office. Change it now.
Then changing that.
Come on.
Not changing that. Don't look for it to be changed.
Well, as I say,
that's a talking point.
Yes. That is that where they're getting the energy from. Yeah. But they won't want to.
And look at all the things that are happening inside of Carriacou. I mean, really, Carriacou has been transformed. I mean, sometimes we'd say the passage of Beryl, did a lot of damage to us, But the beauty about it is that Carriacou is building back better, and the amount of people now that are getting houses from the government that didn't have before, getting land from government they didn't have before. It's amazing. Really, it's a transformation that's taking place in the entire Carriacou and the Petit Matnick, Really.
Of course.
Yes.
Of course.
And we're building in every way, doing everything that we have to do. And it's steadfastly going on. And I just wonder, sometimes I just have a little vision of Carriacou another 5 years from now. Yes.
I could see a difference. I always think of it. The only thing is that we so-called citizens will be second place. So a lot of us, because when you don't use it, you lose it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm advising those people who are sitting in Trump country. I mean, I don't want to be ungrateful because it's been good to me and all of us. It's a beautiful country, but you must understand that the one thing about America, when you say America, you don't mean the actual thing, but there's some folks, because you tell me something, let's stop for a minute and think of the likes like Donald Trump and Elon Musk, who are at this point in time negotiating all kind of new contracts, 200 and something million, this is a billion. Oh Lord, well, how much you want for yourself? And at the same time, you chop out people Medicaid, everything that is meant to assist somebody less fortunate, you're attacking it. How? So, well, we're not in good shape. We're not in good shape.
Oh, okay. Let me take a call. Vibes FM, landline caller coming. Caller?
Yes, good morning, Mr. Mills, Solio, and of course, my good friend, Mr. Coy.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
How everybody doing?
Fine, thanks. And yourself?
I'm good. It's been a while. I haven't called the program or visited the program, so please forgive me. But I decided to call. I'm hearing a lot of things, and I think it's important that we dispel some of the untruths and also some of the erroneous statements that are being made. So we have to learn from the past. In the past, people said that Nancy Buck had 5,000, and people literally believed it, even though we knew it wasn't true. But there were people that believed it. When you repeat a lie long enough, it becomes
the truth.
The truth, unfortunately. So I just thought it's important that I bring some clarity. Really, the Hillsborough bus terminus. It's been called a shed, but really and truly, that is what was given to us about 20 years or so ago as a bus terminus by the former NNP representative, or the former member of parliament, Honorable Edward Imrani. It's in his truth now. After Hurricane Beryl gave us an opportunity, a clean slate or canvas for us to paint, if you want to put it that way. We ask ourselves, do we want to do the same thing like what was existing before, or do we want to improve it? And clearly, we want to improve it. And we have to build a proper bus terminus. What existed then is that whenever rain fell, they're talking about when rain falls now, people getting wet. The reality is when rain fell back then, with the existing structure, it was a basket, and even with the cover. So the intention is that we will be building a proper bus terminus, proper sitting area with a proper covering, so that the people that are waiting on the respective buses for the respective zones will be able to sit comfortably in the elements and wait on the bus and so forth. There's also a green space that we also will be designing, and a food court. So all that is in the making. The plans obviously will be, the 3D renderings will be made public soon, but all of that is part of the Hillsborough Enhancement Project. I understand that some people expect it to be done right away. I could understand the anxiousness, but I don't want us to forget that it's 10 or 11 months after a devastating hurricane, and there's a number of things that we are doing. And if you were to check what we have done from July to now, you would see that we don't just talk, we actually do the work. But I want our residents, I want the residents of Carriacou and Petit Matnick, the constituents to bear with us and to have patience. Because the reality is we can't do everything at one time. It will take time. And we're at the final stage, which is the most difficult stage, which is the rebuilding process. And the rebuilding process will take some time. You don't get up in the morning and say you want to build a house, and in a couple of days the house is built. You have to plan. You have to put a costing involved. You have to get the necessary approvals, and then you have to put out the bidding, tendering process. You have to go through a process, and then the construction process starts. So it's a process. But I want our residents to know that something better than what existed is going to come. In the meantime, I understand the pain and the heartache that you're faced with, but know that it would not be for too long. And likewise, it's the same thing with the houses, the same thing with the jetty, the same thing with the same thing was set up at the hospital. With the hospital, we've done it. The same thing was set up at the airport. Remember, the airport after Beryl didn't have no roof. It was basically in ruins. The airport is back up and running. The schools, Mount Pleasant, all the other schools. Dover, we're working on it assiduously. And there are so much, the clinics, we can go on and on and on and on. The debris was a major concern. I remember everybody talking about it now, Carriacou. All the debris is basically picked up one way or the other. I remember when the debris was in the playing fields, that was a major concern. Now, the only place that is now in is Happyvale, and we're now in the process of sorting it out so that it could be badged out. And whatever that doesn't need to be badged out, it's been put down into Dumfries. But solid waste management, who is managing this process, will be able to explain the entire process to the residents and to the people of Carriacou and Petit Matnick. But just rest assured that we are aware of the challenges, and we are working assiduously to try and remedy the problems. But just also understand that it's 11 months after a devastating hurricane, and if we were to look back, I think we all should be proud of ourselves, looking at the progress that we have all made in one way or the other. So
yeah, okay. But before you go, Minister, hold on. We're not going to let you get away like that. No, you can't get away like that. Okay.
No, I'm not at all. You have all the time. You could take all the time you wish.
No. You just reiterated, that the fact that the bus terminus, there's plans in progress to do something much better than the little shed that we had there, right? Better organized, right?
Better organized, proper food court, a green space so that people can recreate, and a proper sitting area, proper shed area, proper sitting area for the people that are waiting on the buses, etc. So it's an area that you will be able to go in. You will be able to buy local food, drinks, etc. You'll be able to sit in a nice green space area, and for those people that are waiting for the buses, will be able to sit comfortable in a shed, waiting for the buses in the various zones. So zones are lovely, proper shed, proper sitting area, but in addition to that, you would have a nice food court and a green space for residents. That's what we're doing. As a matter of fact, the architectural and engineering company was in Carriacou, I think about a month ago, if I'm not mistaken. Myself, Permanent Secretary Perrott, Mr. I think it's Benson Patrice, and a couple other people, by advisor, etc. We went around looking at a number of sites as we developed the Hillsborough Enhancement Initiative project. So there's a number of things that has to be enhanced in and around Hillsborough. Obviously, everything wouldn't be able to happen in a couple months or in a year's time. But the stage that we're in now is the rendering, the drawings, the planning, preparation stage.
Mm-hmm.
And you would see some drawings soon. And the intention is to hopefully start some work before the year ends. So that's what we're pushing to make it happen. The public toilet is also part of that, and of course that area in front of the Drupa area, all of that includes the enhancement, including the Hillsborough Jetty is part of the enhancement project. So the Hillsborough enhancement project is a massive project, and so you'll hear more about it as time comes.
So as you mentioned, it is in the stage now where they're planning and organizing and doing, all the necessary work, before they start putting the plan, together. That's what's taking place right now, right?
That's correct. Just the engineering work that is being done now, the architectural and engineering work is being done now. And after that stage, we go to the community, the business community, and of course the community of Carriacou. So this is what we have. If there's any changes that you would love to add or to take out, etc., let us know, and then we implement accordingly.
Okay. Now I noticed all the work that's been done right now around the area which the whole community center was erected before. And now I noticed that quite a things are happening. Would you like to make some comments about that? Especially, I'm seeing like 2 tennis courts have been done at this time. Is that right? Am I seeing good?
Oh, beautiful. Oh, you're talking right. You're talking about the tennis court, right? So as we know, Carriacou doesn't have a tennis court per se, but we have a hard court that we use as a tennis court, and we call it the tennis court. So this will be the first tennis court that will be owned and operated by the government in the state.
Yeah.
So it's a plus for the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique. A construction firm was contacted, and they are working assiduously to get this thing done for us. It's a double court, so hopefully we will be able to play regional games, etc. The intention is to get more for young people actively involved in tennis, and also for sports tourism. That's the whole idea behind this. So build a court that is regionally accepted, and of course try to get our young people involved in a different sport, introduce a new sport, a different sport. And I think Mr. Blaise Mario and his team has been doing a marvelous job when it comes to tennis. And what we've also recognized from the educational standpoint is that those young people that are involved in tennis are a little bit more focused in school. So hopefully we need to get more and more young people involved so that they can be more focused and perform even better at the school level. So one of the reasons that this project has started going quicker than like the enhancement project in particular is because this is a project that had to be done before burial. So all of the drawings and everything was already done.
Okay.
It's a matter of just getting a number of things done. So it's not a hard coat. It's a special sort of material that has to be used. So I think that's what they're waiting on now, to use that special sort of material. There's a special mix, etc., that has to be done. And then when that is done, we then go for the bleachers.
Okay.
And in that bleachers will have, of course, it's for the sitting area, and of course you will have storage area below, and bathroom facilities, etc.
Okay.
So it's a big project. It's a big project for the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique.
And next to it, you still have the space there. Or what about the cultural center or something of the nature? You've been hearing talk about that. You want
the cultural center? Yes. So the cultural center is on. The drawings are completed. We are now reviewing the drawings, Mr. Mills. As a matter of fact, this week, I believe tomorrow, we're supposed to be meeting with the architect to go over the drawings to make sure that our technical team is happy with it. And then we will bring it to the public to hear from the public what their thoughts are. But we are talking about a gym. We are talking about a massive area so that the cultural groups and performers will be able to stage activities and keep our cultural activities alive and our culture alive, sitting areas, among many other things. So, as I said, the drawings is completed in the sense of for us to review, and then we would bring it to the public so that the public can see what it's about and, of course, get public feedback.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Minister, for that heads up. And now that we know that we're getting the tennis court, we'll wait patiently for the Judith Men's Cultural Center.
I totally agree. I mean, you're breaking the news too quick, Mr. Joseph. We there's certain, not everything we have to say, but the good thing is that you give a lot of history, and it's important to have people like you around, because with your knowledge and of course persistence, we found out that this was actually an initiative by her.
Yes, absolutely.
The original community center.
Yes.
So I most definitely. I wouldn't say more.
Okay.
Most definitely.
All right. Thank you.
In honor and recognition of our hard work and sacrifice.
Yes.
Community of character and pity, man.
Right. Okay. That sounds good. Okay. Yeah. Now, could you just give us a little bit of an update on what's happening with within the housing? How are things going with housing?
Well, it continues to go pretty okay. Our challenge continues to be material shortages, manpower, and so forth. But in spite of that, we are delivering homes. Homes are being built. And outside of what we are doing in terms of building homes, the material support. We continue to give the material support, and we're seeing the benefits of it. You see a number of roofs going back. I mean, anybody in Carriacou that, if there's any honest person in Carriacou, they would tell you that 2 months, 3, 4 months ago, compare that to today, you are seeing the difference. You're seeing more roofs on. You're seeing more homes being repaired and rebuilt, etc. There's a number of homes, mind you, that still doesn't have roofs, and it's for a number of reasons. Most of these people are not here, or some of these people are waiting on contractors, etc. Mm-hmm. But all in all, if we were to do when we did the analysis from a NADMA and the ministry standpoint, we've seen a drastic improvement from where we were 6 months ago. So again, the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique are the ones to be commended. These are our local contractors, and these are our local people that are doing a lot of work. Some people receive a little support from the government. They did and did their part, and that is what has to happen. Working together so that we could recover in a more faster time. Mm-hmm. So the people of Carriacou and Petit Martinique must become mended for their resilience and for the tenacity and the spirit of not giving up. Mm-hmm. I know it's not an easy time. I mean, people lost just about everything they've worked so hard to build. And in a matter of minutes, in a matter of an hour or less, all of that was shattered. And some people didn't even know how they would start. But they found the strength and they've started. And as I told everybody, and I'll say it again, we will not leave anyone behind. No matter how long the wait is, no matter how tough the road to the promised land is, we would work together to ensure that we hold everybody's hand to get there. But it's not an easy task. It's not easy at all, not for any one of us. Mm-hmm. But I believe when we work together, we'll be able to achieve way more.
Yes.
And as I said in the past, this is not time for politics. I know a lot of people would choose to try and score cheap political points around this time. This is not how we are as kayaks. Kayaks are people that come together, especially in times of crisis and in difficult times. You know, when the election time come around, which it will come, then we will debate, then we will throw up our political punches, etc. But this time is for us to work together. This is not time for green, for yellow, for black, white. This is time. This is kayak.
Yeah.
This is kakabawi for kakabawi, looking out for one another, protecting each other, working in the interest of everyone.
Right. Okay.
So that's what we need to do.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. One more thing, give us an update. Give us an update on the Bel Road. We've been speaking about that this morning. Was it 5?
Bel Road. Bel Road should have been completed a long time, as you know. Beryl stopped it. Nonetheless, we have started back. The contractor is now doing the back wall, the retaining wall, and after the retaining wall, it's a matter of the concrete pave, pouring the concrete pave, pavement. So I would say in a matter of a month or two, the Bel Road should be completed. But the project is well advanced.
That's the upper part you're speaking about, right? But
the upper part, mind you, the lower part, that's 1,700 or so please forgive me if I didn't get the correct feet length. There's over 1,000 feet of road plus the retaining wall, and then you had the bypass, the hospital bypass that was done.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a lot of work that was done in just a year, in a year's time, and some. And of course, as you know, with the passage of Beryl, that slowed down everything, because that slowed down a number of things. But the contractor is well advanced with all the steel work, with laying down the necessary materials, etc. So it's a matter of now just to put up the blocks and then to prepare for the pavement, the concrete pavement.
Mm-hmm.
But we are well advanced with the time frame that has been given.
Okay. Salia, you were going to say something?
No.
Okay, Kai.
Yes, let me ask you. Good morning again, Minister, and I hope all is well. I want to ask a question in regards to the state of mind, in the sense that we have just, you said 10, 11 months ago, we have just had the experience with Beryl. And here we are again, just a few weeks, a month and so away from another hurricane season. I want to ask you, how do you balance being prepared and at the same time, while you are organizing to face something that's possible, you are also on the back end trying to recover and rebuild. The question is, how do you balance that at this time?
Well, I don't even know how we balance it. We just have to be prepared for it. The reality is, Mr. Coy, we live in the Caribbean. We live within that zone that you have to prepare for a disaster every single year. We have to prepare ourselves for it. It has become a way of life. There's sometimes it misses us, and other times we don't miss. So we should always be prepared. So that's why we ensure that we are building back better, ensuring that we follow the necessary standards. I know a lot of people are not so happy with planning authority. The planning authority is ensuring that you build in a particular way, and not everybody is happy with that. But it's for that reason, the reason that you must always be prepared in the event of a hurricane, that we must build to withstand it.
Mm-hmm.
So the balancing work is to, one, we do the recovery because we're in the final stage, but also ensure while we are doing the rebuilding and the recovery efforts, ensuring that we follow standards and protocol. And that's why most of what was in our hurricane shelters, like the Mount Pleasant School, the Happyville School, most of the schools are now back up and intact, and standards were followed. That in the event of, we know where our shelters are. But as I said, there's still lots of more work to be done. And the hurricanes are becoming more and more stronger. It's because of climate change. We are not responsible for climate change. Probably 1% responsible. And the bigger countries are the ones that are responsible for it with their actions or inactions. And we continue to pay for it year after year. And sadly, we are not supported as we really should by them, who are causing the hurricanes and disasters to be so ravaged and stronger. And while on that topic, I must say though, talk about the CREF insurance. I know a lot of people are talking about it, and we started this community engagement once a week. I haven't been doing it for the last week and a half. We'll be starting back next week. I've been explaining to the residents that to rebuild the damage caused by Beryl will cost the government of Grenada over $800 million to rebuild. That's the reality. Right. Over $800 million.
Mm-hmm.
The CREF insurance was $118 million. And when you talk about the payout to fishermen and the payout to farmers and the cleanup, just the debris cleanup, both land and sea, and then you talk about all of the other the key infrastructure, the key infrastructures like our hospital, our airport, our schools, our home, the senior citizen home, that is, we're getting prepared, and all the other things that we have done, police station, at government buildings, etc. There's not much money left, and then we have to rebuild and assist rebuilding of homes and assist with the material support, etc. $180 million is just about 20% thereabout of that overall figure.
Okay.
So we need to continue to explain that to people so that they don't think, well, you have all this money, where is it? What did you do with it?
Well, that's what the opposition.
The
opposition been trying to put that in the minds of people too, And as we were saying earlier on the program this morning, that's just like a drop in the bucket. I mean, there's that's what it is, So, but they've been misled, with the false statements that have been made.
But it's worrying when Mr. Coy spoke about how do you balance. It's balance is part of the balance is worrying that if you are struck by something again. The amount of money that you have to spend again for the recovery, rebuilding, for the debris cleanup, etc. That's the worry, and this is why we need some climate justice. But that's a whole different story altogether.
Well, one of the things that's been positive about the whole thing is that, as you mentioned a little bit earlier on, is that planning is in the stage of making sure that whatever we do now, is done much better. So the possibility of holding on to what you have is very likely.
Yes, much better. Yes, certainly.
Yeah.
Melissa, if I may jump in here, and I would like to tell Mr. Koi Kisi Rasira, but we're doing our best, and I must add that this administration, and I'm not no junior, is doing quite well, and I am saying that the action here, these issues, unprecedented. So I will just say to you, keep on doing the good works that you guys are doing. And as we say, if you just speak for itself, we can predict.
Indeed.
All right?
Indeed.
Yes.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Joseph.
Right.
I must say that it's because of people like yourself, Kim Mills and others, who continue to give the sound advice and encouragement and so on, that have people like myself and the cabinet and so on keep moving. So thanks for the motivation. Thanks for pushing, although sometimes I think the pushing might be a little bit too much, but I think that is what helps us to go and help us to grow.
Well, what happened?
So
you know what happens?
We appreciate it, but it's a team effort, and I appreciate it as well. The people here must be commended for their tenacity and resilience as well.
Don't ever think the pushing is too much. Depends on the tide, you have to aim a little higher. If you want to.
No, certainly.
Yes, sir.
Certainly, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. That's why I say it is what keeps us going.
Yes, it's encouragement, not yes, it's encouragement. Good Lord.
So we appreciate
Okay.
it. We appreciate it.
Okay, well.
All right.
Okay, well, Minister, let me thank you.
All the
Let me thank you so much for calling in this morning.
Hmm.
We appreciate it.
Take
And we
care.
love hearing you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye. All right. Okay, great. That was our minister. He just listened to the program and he decided to chip in a little bit and
makes sense.
Yes, yeah,
makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense.
We appreciate that.
I note your response, and I don't think we should encourage Kisira because we have an idea. We have had an experience of what it is like. We have seen it, and this time around, I think we should be more prepared. That is the issue, preparation. No, I mean yes. But so we can't just say, well, what happened?
No,
what happened?
Hello.
We have to put some concrete. Hold on.
What?
We have to put some concrete plans, preparations in place. For example, the last time around, the minister had to physically go and remove people from places. Physically go and remove, and even I think he even had to call the police because they weren't going to move. So how are we preparing ourselves emotionally, mentally, and otherwise to face anything?
Yeah, but you must remember, Koi, the time span, the time that we have to work with as well, too. All these things that's around us right now is that it doesn't happen overnight. So we now in a situation there where
what doesn't happen overnight.
The rebuilding.
I'm talking about the rebuilding
and preparation.
Yeah, preparation is a must.
No,
it is. What are we doing then?
No, it is, and I know systems have been put in place to make sure that if something like that were to reoccur in the very near future, we're in a better position to deal with it. But like anything else,
well, I think Mr. Coy totally misinterpreted what I was saying. We do our best. And after we've done our best, Que sera, sera.
Oh, you didn't say that.
You missed it.
No, you didn't say.
No.
You didn't say that before.
Yeah, you missed it.
No, you didn't say we do our best and then anything happen.
Not in so many words.
Well, no,
but we do what has to be done. And que sera.
Well,
Right,
but people have to be brought to understand, because not everybody would understand that the need for preparation is still urgent.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
but
absolutely. That's in the minds of everybody.
Absolutely.
Listen.
You might say it's in the minds of everybody, but people are doing and behaving so.
If you have not experienced it, then it might be a little bit different. But once you have gone through that experience, there's no if about preparation in your mind, whether you're able to do it to the 100% or 50%, but still that will be a priority. And trust me.
Yeah, you notice afterwards that when you say que sera, sera, the future is not ours to see. Right? So, que sera, sera.
Vibes FM, landline caller coming. They're taking calls now. Vibes landline caller coming.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes, good morning, yes.
Yes. I'd like to talk a little bit about taking care of ourselves, because we kind of on that topic. Methuselah, I believe, lived 900 years. This was before the flood. 900 years without a hospital. So Noah also lived over 900 years without a hospital. Now, the Lord says that the herbs are for the healing of the nation. And one time, a woman said she's dying because she can't afford a medication. So I want to encourage people to start using the herbs of the herbs of the land. And I'd like to give two recipes that I've learned and I've used, and I find it very effective. So medium-sized red onion, piece of ginger the size of your thumb, and 3 cloves of garlic chopped up. You boil that between 5 to 9 minutes, and it acts as an antibiotic. And another one is, let's see, lemon. Instead of, you could take away one of the last ones. For example, you could use onion, garlic, and lemon, and it works like an antibiotic. And it's not medicine, so you could have it anytime for tea, and it tastes pretty good. And if you add for sweetener, the best honey you can find, raw honey, it'll be very helpful. We have to be very strong for the times to come. Our bodies need to be very strong for the times to come. And like everybody else, I'd like to encourage people also to plant. Okay, that's one. Now, 2, I'd like to say something about Israel. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. They will prosper who loves her. Now, I heard that the President of the United States and I think the leader of England and Canada, I think they withdrew help from helping Israel. Now, I think that's a bad idea. This is the wrong time to take away help from Israel. Like I quoted from the Psalms. You know, pray for the peace of Jerusalem. They will prosper who loves her. So I'm just encouraging those Western countries, you know, and I find it odd too. They don't usually take away help from Israel. So at this time, when I believe Israel needs them, they're taking away their help. So it's kind of unusual. Right. And once again, please let us go back to the earth. Like, let's go back to the garden and feed our body so that we can be strong for the times to come. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much for your contribution there. Next caller, come in. Caller, what's up?
Good morning.
Yes, hello.
Good morning. You know, when those things come to my memory, I have to touch it. Yeah. What we hear Miss Modest become the MP person.
Caller, before you go further, your device is a little bit too loud in the back. So it's yeah, okay, great, nice. Yes, go ahead. Okay, no problem. Yes, go ahead. The question again.
What year Miss Modest became the MP person maps?
But I was going to do a little research on that, but I believe it was around at least 1999 because that's when the NP had the first 15 nil. So it could have been around there.
Okay. I asked that because the way they're doing as if the NDC ain't doing nothing. But there's a hill in St. Mark's that is called Good Hill.
Yeah.
I mean, Cow Hill. Okay. Now, it seems like when she represents St. Mark's, it was what? A calf. Okay? A heifer. And to go from a heifer to a cow. And the cow now had to attend to that hill. And what was amazing, the young lady called, I think was on what you call DMs with PM, something like that.
DMs with PMs, yeah. PM,
right.
Yeah.
And she make mention about that to the Prime Minister. And he told her that he will send people from the Ministry of Works in the Northwest,
yeah,
in the Western Division to go and look at it. Amazingly, the Prime Minister went there himself with the people from Works on the Western Division. It shows how concerned our Prime Minister is. He wants to see for himself, so then he will know how serious this thing is. When I look at what these people have been working on in the rain, especially when outside wet, what Miss Modest was doing, is it Victoria alone she knew about? These MPs and MPs, they forget the people, except to feed them with a long spoon, okay, to get the votes every election. And I hope they have the understanding now that such MPs should no longer go back into the parliament as MPs. I mean, come on, all these years, the people walking, going up this hill, when rainfall, you could skate on the grass and stone, anything could happen there. Plus, there are other places, but I don't want to take much of a time on this. St. George Northwest. How come I hear the MP speaking about that constituency? Since Jonathan Rackett, caused himself to be out, I hear he talking about road, houses to fix, a washroom to build. I don't hear he talking nothing about Northwest. What happened? Is he done with the constituency?
Was he ever there?
It's a good point.
Was he ever there?
Well, he's supposed to be the MP still. Okay, he didn't resign from that, but he forget them just like when he was Prime Minister, because he didn't do nothing. But yet these people want to sacrifice themselves, behind this man. Now the Prime Minister giving all the MPs, I think it's $10,000 a month they get in to work in the constituency. Now, does these people spend the money on the constituency or not?
Well, that is
I think
there should be some
investigation taking place.
There should be some supervision over that, to make sure that the monies have been spent. Because if you get an allowance to do things for the constituency, what are you doing with it? You're supposed to show how the money has been spent. It's not yours.
But when you listen to talk show radio in Grenada, and you listen to people on the streets, you're hearing like, when they go to the MPs, they tell them they're not in office. They're there to go to the government. So what is $10,000 is for?
Well, that is what Diablo has done for the longest while, in that once you are in government as an MP, that's when things are going to get done. Outside of that, nothing has been done. And that could be one of the reasons too why nothing in the other constituencies were done that were represented by the opposition, because there was no allowance made to assist them to provide any service in the community, but just keep them on the side there and to dominate because they have the authority to do whatever they want to do. But it's a little different now. Yeah.
But now they get an allowance.
Now they're getting allowance, yes.
But yet you're hearing the people in their constituency saying that when they go to them, they tell them they're not in office.
Right, because that is because that is what they've been used to saying to people, that they could only do things when they're in office. When they're not in office, they can't do nothing.
Well, that is come for the money because
Right.
taxpayers' money.
Yeah, and not even that. If you check it out, for the year is about $120,000 for a year. I mean, that's a lot of money. To
so check it for 5 years.
And 5 years, you're talking about $600,000, and making it more now. Each of those representatives will be getting a vehicle.
A vehicle?
Yes.
I have a problem with that. I have problem with that. You're not getting my taxpayers' money to go and do your political work. You're supposed to finance that by yourself. Money given to you as the MP is to do things for the people in the constituency. To give you a vehicle to go around the constituency to do what? To do what? Work and meet your people. And the walking through the constituency. I see the Prime Minister all in the night who have flashlight, who using phone from light from the cell phone to walk in the dark, meeting people in their home. Huh?
Yeah.
Why are you giving them? No. I think the Prime Minister made a mistake there. I don't mind the $10,000, but
the vehicle.
That vehicle, no. I guess all of these MPs have their own personal vehicle. Okay?
Yeah.
And they have ways and means in going to the constituency. Taxpayers' money should not be going in. But that's an error the Prime Minister is making. I don't care what some people will say, but I am saying don't do it. It is wrong. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah. All right. 403-0101. 403-0101 and 443-0101. You can call any one of the numbers, and 458-1914. 458-1914.
Well, you remember the last administration, government monies have been used to buy credit so people could call and say good things about the last administration, you remember?
Yes.
That is how my boy become a telephone exchange. And build up this big bill.
Yeah.
Understand me?
Yeah.
But by the way, I understand that the matter has been taken to court, which I think is past due. Anybody has any update on that?
Well, I didn't hear anything else yet, but I think it's going forward.
But I think we should make it a talking point.
Yeah. Talking point.
So talking point is a talking point.
Yes, that's a talking point. That should be a talking point.
Landline caller, let me take you first. Landline caller coming.
Good morning.
Yes,
morning.
hello.
Morning to your panelists.
Morning, my dear.
Yeah, I'm calling to say something about the $10,000. The $10,000 where every MP will be getting. For instance, nothing is being done with that $10,000. Well, I ain't in Northwest. Nothing is being done with that $10,000. So the next thing again, pertaining to the vehicle, where each member will be getting they'll be getting a vehicle. They'll be getting a vehicle. So the vehicle they'll be getting now to pass through the constituency to wait for people or some kind of a thing. I want to find out if it's that, because it don't making no sense right now. I ain't finding making any sense. You understand?
Yeah.
No sense at all. And that $10,000, it should be monitored, and it should be monitored. The PM have a right to put someone. It needs to be monitored, because nothing is happening. Because before time, when people used to be going to Lacret, when they used to be going to Keith Mitchell, he's sending them and tell them to go to Lacret. That's what he used to be doing. He's sending them to Lacret.
Okay.
And he's the MP. He was the MP for the area, and sending them to Lacret. They're doing a lot of wrong things. A lot of wrong things. And a little black bottom, that's how they understand he passing from house to house, campaigning thing. But I'm waiting for him in my area. Waiting for him. Okay.
Okay, call it. Thank you so much. Pertaining to the $10,000, if I'm not mistaken, I think we have to do a little bit more research on that. But I think that they are supposed to give receipts to show how the money was spent, you know.
Account for it.
They're supposed to account for it.
Yeah.
But I've been hearing through the grapevine that they had some ways and means of showing receipts, but some sort of crickety thing taking place.
The receipt don't necessarily reflect the
use of the
money.
Yeah. Okay. Because, for instance, if I were to give you some money, like say, give you $10,000, and I said to you, well, you're supposed to give it out to the villagers, whatever, you know, then and for projects, whatever, and one person come to you and say to you, you know, put my name, you know, I'm doing the projects, whatever, and you write it up for them, and then they get the money, but they didn't do anything, and then there could be a deal between you and them as to when I give you the money, bring back X to me.
Yeah.
You know what? So these things, you know, I've been hearing some kind of talk like that. So, you know, I don't know how far that or true it is, but the possibility exists. A lot of things could be taking place, you know, outside the box that are not supposed to take place with that $10,000. So, you know, it's something I think should be looked into. But for the last 3 years, if they were getting it for $10,000, I'm just doing a little math quickly there. There should be somewhere in the region of about $300,000+ in the kitty. That's a lot of money to do something in a constituency as a representative, you know, especially when you're not in government. If you want to utilize it properly, you could be able to assist a lot of people in whatever the needs are. But I think they're going to do some investigation on that, hopefully, to get it in. Yeah,
at least account for government funds.
Yeah, you need to account for funds.
Government funds, and government funds.
Well, taxpayers.
Yes, that's government funds. I'm saying.
Okay.
That's government funds. That is taxpayers. That is $3. Yes, government is using to give these MPs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I yield.
So
because I was wondering to find out who are we.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Things are happening in Carriacou. And when I picked up this information as it pertains to the Marine, just yesterday, today's not, Tuesday, DM with PMs, the Prime Minister made mention of a Marine school being done in Carriacou. And in Grenada as well too, but he mentioned Carriacou because Carriacou-Petit-Martinique, because we are known, you know, for the sea more than, you know, a lot of them there. And it was talked about, and it was in the news as well too, as to what will be taking place. Now, when I tune into GBN, this is a little clip from what will be taking place, what we can expect Carriacou and Petit-Martinique should be benefiting from.
A
maritime training institute will soon be established on the sister isle of Carriacou as part of efforts to revamp the Six Roads campus. This announcement was made by Principal of TAMCC, Andrew Abraham, during a recent visit to Carriacou. He was accompanied by a team from the main campus and staff from the Carriacou campus. The Marine School will be housed at the site of the old Six Roads campus in Carriacou. Highlighting the seafaring heritage of the people of the Grenadines, Mr. Abraham said the institute will welcome trainees from the Grenadine Islands, other parts of the region, and internationally.
The Marine Institute that we've been talking about for a long time, we believe that it is closer to reality than ever before. Only today, I would say, we receive a first 3D rendering of what that campus would look like, which brought a lot of excitement to the team. We are confident that we would get at least the first phase started, at least in this calendar year. And I say a first phase because, as you would appreciate, a Marine Institute would require a lot of physical infrastructure, technical infrastructure, and the capacity, meaning the staff complement and so on. And so it will be a phased approach. But I believe what we've seen or what we have access to at this point, it really energizes the team that Marine Institute will become a reality. And we would be able to really serve the community of Carriacou and Petit-Martinique. And may I say, our community in the Grenadines, Union Island and so on, and some of the other islands, Canada, where students would be able to access program here, which is the current programs that we offer. We have facilities that we could accommodate these programs and expand. But we believe the opportunity here in Carriacou for the Marine Institute is one that we're looking at seriously, and we are moving at it as expeditiously as we can. And like I said, we've seen the first rendering, the 3D rendering of what that campus would look like. And the excitement is there, and TAMCC is ready to actually put its print on Carriacou again.
To ensure the project's success, Mr. Abraham emphasized the importance of a public-private partnership and issued a call for project donors and supporters.
We are looking for partners. The Ministry of Carrico and Petit Affairs is, of course, a partner. Ministry of Education, the government of Grenada, of course. And we are looking for any other partners that we can bring in to make this initiative a viable one for Carrico and Petit Martinique. As I said earlier, we see the opportunities that are available to us. We believe that we have a market within the Grenadines, and we could go even further afield, but we're taking it one step at a time. So we look at other institutions. For right now, TAMCC partner with the Marine Institute in Newfoundland, Canada. We have an ongoing partnership there. We believe that the resources that we have in terms of human capacity, the exchanges that are taking place between students, but we need to look at our needs, basically, and to support the sector. For example, we have a thriving fishing industry here. We now have a Ministry of the Blue Economy. Again, we believe that the opportunities that are presented to us right now, we can partner with that ministry and to build capacity in so many different areas: fishing, boat maintenance, shipbuilding. We also know there is an initiative here in Carrico. Carrico is known for shipbuilding and boat building. That is something that we want to take and move with it. So at least that's an opportunity for us. And we are not taking these things lightly, hence the reason why we are here today. And you would see us even more often going forward as it relates to the implementation in terms of the new structure that we're looking at, and of course the temporary arrangement that we have for our administrative team, our faculty and staff, and again, for our students, current and our prospective students.
Okay. Meanwhile, in light of the impact of Hurricane Beryl on Carrico, students who are attending the Six Roads campus have been temporarily relocated to Grenada with assistance from the government. TAMCC has since secured a rental agreement for a property near the Six Roads campus where limited services will soon be offered to students.
We'd like to have a physical presence here as quickly as possible. With the space that we looked at today, we believe that we have some form of physical activities in terms of our students' engagement here on island in a small way. But we are just being realistic with where we are. Ideally, we would like to have a facility where we can house all of our Carrico students here on the island. So we are looking at September in the first phase to re-engage on the island. But once the assessment is completed, we believe realistically we may have to do another academic year. But we are not ruling out September. But what is important at this point is for us to have a physical presence on the island. So our prospective students could actually meet with the campus director and the faculty or administrative team, so at least they could be guided. Our current students who are requiring service, we want to be able to provide that service to our community here in Carrico and Petit Martinique. So that's what we are looking at. But realistically, we are saying we are taking it in a step-by-step or a phased approach. But we believe in a small way we would be able to have a physical presence here for the new academic year, which is 25-26.
Dr. Flo Patrice, director of the Carrico Six Roads campus, expressed excitement about the new direction for the institution and anticipates a growth in student admissions.
We are excited, very excited, staff and faculty, to move forward. So come June, hopefully June, by the beginning of June, we should be ready to start at least the administrative section, and we're going to have the registration for the new school year. We should be doing registration for the new school year up in Carrico rather than have the students go to Grenada to do that. So for the last school year, we have most of our students, not all of them, some of them could not make it, but most of them went down to Grenada housing, and they had some financial assistance from the government. We still have some students here who are waiting to begin the program. As a matter of fact, people have been asking, they've been asking us every day what new programs we have for the new school year. When we're coming back, they're ready to sign up and register. Somebody asked me what's starting in January, and January went so long. So we're quite excited and we're waiting, we're hopeful. September, we are going to have most of our programs, if not all of them, most of them should be up and running in Carrico.
Very good.
You see, things are happening in Carrico.
Yes, and not important stuff, you know.
Yes.
I always maintain that the seawater, which is what we have our biggest possession, a lot more sea than land. So anything that you could do utilizing the sea for development's sake is welcome. Now, in PM, Petit Martinique, I often wonder, because people would sometimes jokingly say that per capita, PM is probably the richest island
in the world. Sometimes it's yeah, but yeah.
But if not the whole for damn sure the state.
Yeah, okay.
And you know why? Because you have I was in PM today and somebody telling me, you know what the population of Petit Martinique is now? I said, no, it's about 900. It used to be 800. What? He said 400 and 200 on the sea. But I mean 400 people and 200 on the sea.
200 on the sea.
But what you can do with Petit Martinique is utilizing what they have.
Right, yeah.
So that is why you see when you go to St. George's and what you see on the Carolina
is Petit Martinique.
PM.
Yeah.
So you utilize what you have to get what you want, and it's a damn good thing for how we should be doing. So an academy of that type is welcome and it's past due. It's not like with the old administration. Even though you're interested in medicine, they say on the bush. You're interested in law, you're the bushing. You're interested in engineering, the bushing. Well, how? Where are we going?
Really? Yeah. I mean, what is in there, you know, I mean, we laugh at it sometimes, but seriously.
It's true.
It's true. I mean, you should have a choice and go into any field that you so desire to excel. They shouldn't be pushing you like the last time, you know. I remember, you know, years ago when they sent someone to me, Imani, sent it to me, you know, and they said to me that this is not what I want. I asked them for X amount and they give me this. And they're very reluctant in working because why? That is not their choice. And you must give people a chance to choose what they want to develop them the skills.
But if you if you have vision and you talk about development and you want to have your people improve themselves, again, what you like, what you're looking towards as a career. For example, I can remember as a little boy going to school. Whenever time they ask me what you like to be when you grow up, I say join the Navy, bottom head. Only to have one of my teachers tell me, boy, I would change my mind because it's not so pleasant in the Atlantic on a cold winter night. But you know, a child who is interested in an area of life, you try to guide them and let them use the initiative because a passion for that type of thing. So you can just say, after all these years, devotion and money for the vulnerable.
Yeah.
And for you and your children, when you stop to think about it, boy, I often wonder. Because I'm still wondering why all people cannot see that you're working for a government of a country for 30, 40 years and you're still not assured a pension. But ministers of government.
After 8 years? Two terms, yeah.
So
they're entitled. And they wouldn't be interested in giving you that same option because why? They really don't care, you know, and this is one of the things that...
No, but the irony of it is you employ these people, those ministers that you employ, you pay the salary so they could get pension and you can get. That's the logic, you know. And the guys and they pump in the chest because they're a good administration and they want to come back to rescue Grenada. Who are you fooling?
Oh, boy. That's to be seen. But speaking about the Marine, you know, and I would like to see even too, it goes a little further into some sort of a sailing club being established here as well too, because it all has to do with the sea. And this is our passion. This is our culture. This is what we have around us, you know. We should make the best use of it.
Even though we have GPS now, but still have a youngster go inside and look at a compass and the cardinal points.
Yes.
You know, I know what's where and how that all is think about. But we're not doing that. So we're not, again, utilizing what we have to get what we want.
But I think with the Marine School that they're going to
is it past due?
Establish. Yeah. It's past due, and I think we should be able to get some benefits out of it.
Because again, looking at this, you're talking about Carriacou has been the cultural breadbasket of the state. And sometimes I have to laugh, you know, because all those that we boast about, that we're known as that, is far gone, you know. We have too much boats being built here, you know. Cousin Alwyn turned the towel, and It's unfortunate. I'm hoping that they might be able to find a kid or two that he could mentor, that he could show them something about the industry and the art of boat building. Otherwise, who are we going to get to teach our youngsters what is about boat building they need to know?
Yeah.
You understand? So I'm hoping, and even that sometimes Kim, I look at our culture and I look at the big drum, let's say, and how far removed it is from the real McCoy.
Mm-hmm.
It pains me.
Yeah, we have moved quite a bit.
Oh, God. Roll
Yep.
it in.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully.
So having identified that as a serious challenge, concern, I
Mm-hmm.
do agree it's a concern, and I do understand your sentiments on that. In light of what we've just highlighted, what can we do to arrest that situation? Yes, we're talking about the school is coming, but what else can we do to ensure that lifestyle becomes part of us, our culture, or way of life? Because if we had done this before 10, 20 years ago, we would not have been where we are now with the lack
But it's not too late, you know.
I know it's not too late, but I'm just saying, if you had done it 20 years ago, example, we would not have been having this conversation. No, we have been discussing something else, some other area.
Well, it's
What the question I'm asking, I'm sorry, Leo, is that what can we do now to advance it, ensure it remains there? Because one little thing happened and people could change. So I'm just saying, what are we putting in place? What are we doing?
Well, no, stop. Let me say this. We can, right now, utilize sometimes the knowledge of our seniors, and get something passed on to the youth. Because if you don't have someone who has an idea of what it's all about, who are we going to get to pass it on? And you always tell them life is a relay. You have to pass the baton. Some information or something must come from somebody to continue. If we don't do that, then we're in sad shape. So right now, if you were to ask me for an advice, whoever seniors you could find and what area they might be knowledgeable in, grab them and do something. You see, Cousin Lucy DeRoche, I would like to, every time I go by her, I could sit down and learn something valuable, even not about Carriacou, but Petite Martinique. And the lady has so much knowledge and wisdom, not only about a country and the history of them, but her artwork is second to none. So you just put them, you exile them, right? And instead of somebody teaching you how to do crochet and this and that and the other, so you could have a souvenir shop where you could sell something that says Carriacou on it. That is old time, that is old fashion.
Yes, and as you mentioned her, I know that she is willing and she's been craving to pass on knowledge on, because, she's of that type of person who wants to see people develop themselves. And she's been yearning for the opportunity and the assistance just to facilitate her to make she able to, pass that on to others. And she has not been given the opportunity. And it was sad if we let those things just go dead just like that, because if we don't nurture them and try to build them from now, we just lose it altogether.
Yeah. That's why you see good government and good governance must include, the use of our seniors who have a wealth of knowledge to pass it on. So we design programs or implement programs that is going to go in that direction. So
because I remember, in my school days, when we had this kind of classes were artwork and stuff, and then we used to have to go and sometimes get the for the lash. What do we call a tree? That
Tamarind tree?
No, not tamarind tree. No,
Bully?
No, they want to scrape out all the green and
lash.
Lash. Yes. And we'd go and prepare all those things and go into school with it. And they would be taught how to knit and how to make this basket. Sometimes with straw, you go with all the straws. And they would be given a sort of a template to work with, and to develop the skill. And at the end of the day, you produce something. And we used to say souvenir, you put your name on it and all kind of things like that, and we have lost that, I don't think.
One of the ills of copycatting is ignorance, because what you have, what you know, is always inferior, and what is foreign is good. So instead of us using what we have again and utilizing the knowledge of those who were here before us to do the right thing, we tend to just throw everything, throw the baby with the bathwater, and then we left in the wilderness and trying to cling on to something that somebody else has and could never utilize it fully because it's always foreign to us.
Well, I think right now we're on the right track, with the assistance that the government is making, and trying to see if they could bring back some of these skills, that, for the younger ones,
The mere basic, that's why you see I admire this gentleman so much. Because in as much as the previous administration will say, we care for you, the poor and vulnerable, how come you don't know and realize that education, 19 people talking about that, be it Sparrow, everybody, education is the way out of poverty. So why isn't there an emphasis on educating and more education? Like Sparrow say, if you want to learn tomorrow, you have to learn today.
Yeah, but the thing about it, that's a sort of a negative thing for them, because if they educate you, then you'll
be loyal.
Right. So to keep you loyal, then they have to maintain you in this darkness. Unbelievable, eh? But this administration is doing, a lot to educate and to enlighten people and the way forward that they're doing, because I heard a story, as a matter of fact, I think I have the clip here too, where our prime minister went through a process, and every time I play the clip, I admire it because he took a time to demonstrate to this person what could be done and the process and what it takes, because sometimes you feel like you're in a situation whereby you are the one like an outsider, different to others. People have it different to you. And everybody's on the same plateau, It's just a matter of us being able to navigate ourselves through it. And this person who needed some assistance in getting a home went to him. And this is the story.
A young lady came to me and asked for assistance to get some plywood to build a house. And I asked her where she planned to build a house. And she said she thinks she had some land somewhere that belonged to the family somewhere. And she was hoping that she'd be able to clear a spot and build a house. So I asked if she was employed, and she said yes. I asked her if she recognized that if she didn't own the land, that even if you got what you were asking for, which was materials at the time, you still have to find a contractor to build it. And you still have to pay the contractor to build it. And so you have to have money to do that. And that didn't occur to her. So I asked her if she was aware that right next door, there were apartments for sale by the housing authority. She said, well, she was aware, but she never really thought it through. Mind you, she has 2 or 3 children. So I said to her, maybe you should go to the apartments and have a look at them. And the first response, well, it's not really my thing, I want my own space, I want to plant, etc. But I said, you have nothing now. And you're here talking with me to ask me to help you, and that help is going to come from the taxpayers of Grenada. So everything goes in stages. So let's deal with the fact that you have nothing now. Let's deal with the fact that you want to get to a point where you have home. And there's a journey that you have to take to get to that point. So I said, perhaps you can work with me and you can go and visit the housing scheme. And she went. And I said, what do you think? She said she liked it. I said, good. I said, the next step is we have to figure out how you get it. And I said, so you already have one foot in because you're working and you can get a job letter. She said, yes. I said, well, is Ariza here? Yes. I said, Ariza is offering financing to help support people who want to buying. She said she doesn't have an account at the Riser. I said, that's fine. You can go in, you can open the account, you can tell them that you are trying to buy an apartment at the current housing scheme, and they will tell you what you need to do. I said, in addition, you'll have to fill up the form at the housing scheme to say you're interested in applying for an apartment. She did that. She went into Riser, she opened the account. They told her the criteria, it was, I think 20%, that's too high by the way. She said she had 10%. And that a friend was going to give her the other 10%. So I said, is this friend male or female? She said male. I was like, is he really a friend? Or is he something? Well, she didn't quite, I still don't know the answer to that. But obviously she didn't have 20%. And I was concerned that I said to her, if this friend gave you 10%, it probably means the friend name is going to have to go on the title deed, which means then you wouldn't really own the property, it would be joint ownership. So I said, I need you to think about this seriously and then you'll come back. But by then the friend disappeared. So the 10% was no longer available. I gave her the 10%. Well, let me rephrase that. I told her I would lend her the 10% so that she could make the 20%. And she came in and she signed for the loan and she got that additional 10%, so she had the 20% criteria. Then she started calling me because she was frustrated. It was taking long. She couldn't understand a lot of the processes. Ariza want insurance, they want this, they want that. You know, is this how they treat poor people? Is this how they make everything happen? So I said to her, that's not how they treat poor people, that's how they treat everybody. That is a long process, that sometimes is a little too cumbersome, but you have to understand why. So why do they want insurance? So I explained to her why. I was like, well, I don't know what kind of insurance they're asking you for, but there are different kinds. You could have life insurance, so that if you die, God forbid, soon after you get this apartment, you have 3 children, and the life insurance could be used to pay off the loan so that your children are not thrown out of the apartment and they become owners of the apartment. I said, or it could be credit, life, and disability insurance so that if you become disabled and you're unable to work, then the insurance will pay off the loan, and so you can remain in your apartment with your children. So I said, even if you don't have the money to pay the insurance monthly, the loan can actually cover that because they can give you a loan where you actually pay the insurance from them. So I walked her through this process. And eventually, when it was still taking a little too long, I called Mr. Lord and I said, Mr. Lord, you have my personal assurance that this young lady will pay a riser, and in any event, you have 20% security. The property is being sold at a significantly discounted price. There's significant equity, and the government is supposed to be guaranteeing any default because we are satisfied that if people don't pay, that the apartments can be sold again. So really, Ariza has a 100% guarantee that they will make money on these loans. And I guess Mr. Lord worked his magic, and soon thereafter, the young lady became, for the first time in her life, a property owner of an apartment that she owns, that she's worked for, that she's paying for, and her children live in. Now, it means somewhere between our initial engagement, which could have just ended with probably sheets of plywood sitting somewhere hoping that someone will help her build, perhaps rotting away, or perhaps somebody stealing it, or going and build it in a place where there's no water, no electricity, no road, no street lights at night. And her getting the apartment in current, there's a huge gap, and that gap is the financial literacy. That gap is understanding how banks work, how credit unions work, how insurance work, why they work, the importance of them, what land ownership means, what property ownership means. But crucially, it means the dignity of the young lady and her children. It means the fact that the building is located in a place that's central. There's the current community center, there's the current school, there's Las Vegas Beach, there's Las Vegas playing field, there's access to almost every and any kind of amenity. It therefore means the quality of her children's life ought to be significantly improved than it was before. But there's one cherry on the cake. You know, oftentimes we think that our people are not honest and they don't mean well. A couple months after, I got a call and she said, I'd like to know how I pay you back your 10%. And that was the best part of this entire engagement. But I told her she didn't have to pay me back, but she could put $100 a month aside in a savings account, and I'll be checking on her to make sure she do it so that she saves money for herself and her children for a rainy day, for health shocks, for economic shocks, etc. So I'm making the point to say, especially for financial institutions, for the most part, our citizens want an opportunity and they want a chance. You may have the exceptional bad mind who just don't want to pay even if they can pay. But for the most part, most people respect their dignity. They try to honor their word. And certainly when it comes to their home or homes, they will do everything to earn a home that they're proud of and to be able to finance and repay those who assisted them in getting that home. Because a home signifies a number of other things that I think we all know about, given the history of the Caribbean and the history of Grenada. So I'm giving this example because I was inspired by recognizing that if I had not, and perhaps if she called me a few times and didn't get me and got frustrated and see all politicians are the same, if I didn't stay the course with her and walk her through to say, this is why you need insurance, this is the advantage of the insurance, if I didn't ask her to think twice about whether or not she showed this is a real partner that she's getting this 10% from or something else, it would have been easy for her to walk away. And so our institutions, our community leadership or financial leadership needs to make sure that we support our people along the journey. And to me, that starts with educating them about the process and educating them as early as possible as to the advantages of all of the financial tools that are available to support them and to encourage their success. And that's the main challenge. People don't know, and sometimes it's difficult to find the information. So I hope that by bringing all of us together today, I hope this becomes a model where we can go to our communities. It doesn't have to be community centers. It doesn't have to be during the week. I appreciate for a lot of the workers at the financial institutions, it might be a sacrifice to shop on a Saturday or after work, but we can get pretty efficient and pretty good at it. A 1 hour session on a topic in a community center could make a significant difference in the decisions that our citizens make.
Gentlemen, you heard it.
But I was listening to this thing and it reminded me of see difference in people.
Yeah.
I could remember one boy in trying to demonstrate how passionate he is, that a lady who was trying to send her 2 children to school, and things were so lean that she was having a problem meeting the bus there. And she went to my guy asking for some help. And this was to show how passionate he is, you know. You know what he said? I called a friend to help her. The bus fare, you know. The bus fare. So
he called
a friend. Them fellas, they're spending penny to drink a lime juice. But here's the gun.
Listen to that. And the beauty about it, you know.
I jump in to help.
Yeah. And,
you know what I mean?
And that's a piece of education there, you know, that she experienced, which she wasn't aware of, you know, because when she looked at all the pluses that could be derived from that decision there, you know, and she went through the process. I'm sure that she's very proud now of her accomplishment, what she's able to do.
There's a 2-for-1, you know, she get the money and get her education.
Just like that.
At the process.
Yeah, yeah.
And that you find out that sometimes, well, I guess she must be thinking, well, all right, I want insurance, fine, I want insurance. But it's all right, the money.
Yes.
So
benefits. You could you beneficial to you.
Yes, you know,
you have to do that. She didn't know. She didn't understand.
No. It's an opportunity to learn something.
And the request started off with a request for some plywood to go and build a little something on some kind of property that not even yours.
Amen.
That you'll go through so much to get it done because you have to get money for contractors and maybe a lot of assistance, electricity, water, and all these things like that. There. And look at what she started off going for.
You see, one thing,
what she ended up with.
We don't necessarily need a Harvard Business School But there are a few basics that people should know when you're trying to put a roof on your head. How mortgages work, how bank work, and all those good things. So I wish, only things that we don't do here, when it comes to finance and how you manage monies and invest monies here, we're at a loss, you know.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, well, if they changed it now, but they check the curriculum, they have so many subjects that people passing and so on and so on. And when I say, well, we don't, those things that really matter to us in our everyday life, sink or float. Because when you stop to think about it, the most important thing is you must have something to be able to carry yourself and contribute. But if you don't know it, you don't know.
Yeah.
Like so many other things.
Just a minute, Koi. Hold it up for me. Let me take a call. Vibes FM, caller you on.
Yeah, hello, brother.
Yeah.
I just calling to say that clip there. You saw the clip there where she called him and asked him how she could pay him back the money, and he told her that you don't want back the money, just save $100 out of that money. You know how emotional that is?
Yeah.
Just save $100. You don't want back the money at all. Just save it for your family and your children.
Yep.
That is a caring leader.
Very caring.
That's a caring leader.
Yep.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, let me take another call. Yeah. Hold it up, Koi. Vibes FM, caller. Caller, come in.
Good day.
Yeah.
This caller just beat me to it. You see what that caring leader is all about?
Yeah.
Which one in Grenada before Deacon ever done such a thing?
Yeah.
I heard a statement before the election when he graduated from school. I think where he went.
Yes.
He gave, I can't remember how much, you know. Some of them who want to go and study law. I can't remember the exact number, but he gave them money that they didn't have to go. And when they return and they offer him back the money, he tell them give it to some others who want to go and study law.
Yeah. Pass it on.
And now in government, look what he's doing. He's a man that concerned about people. If this situation people in does touch his heart. And as a result, he does respond to them. Forget those who making them social media bajan. That's what they go see on social media. Look at what a real man, a real leader, so youthful, is doing for people. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll take another call. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Calls are busy. Next caller. WhatsApp caller coming. Caller? Hello?
Good afternoon.
Yes. Hello. Yes. Go ahead.
You want somebody to call anyway. I just too much. Tell me, any one of you answered. In terms of government raising government revenue is whether if I wrong, tell me I wrong it.
Caller?
We're not hearing.
Hello?
Yeah, hold a second. Yeah, wait, caller, hold a second.
Change the location.
Let me just try to see. No, I could try to do something here for him. Caller, you still there?
About the country.
Hello, yes, go ahead. Repeat, please.
Yeah, I asked if most of the government, if it is related to taxes upon the country.
Excellent.
I'm sorry, but we're not hearing you so clear. I wonder why.
Just a moment.
Yes, maybe you could change your location. I know you're kind of breaking in and break out. Hello? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I was asking that if government, most of the revenue the government raised, if it raised through taxes.
Yes, that's correct. Yes. What happened? Hello? Caller. No, we're not. Caller.
Okay. Yeah, you hear me better now?
Yes, yeah.
You hear me better now?
Yes.
Yes. I was asking that if government, most of the revenue that they raise, if it is raised to taxes,
Mm-hmm.
in order to govern the country. To run the country.
That's correct. Yeah, you're right. Yes, it is.
Right. So I said that I asked a question to say that I was listening to a BM with PM last night.
Mm-hmm.
And now the Prime Minister made a statement that about the private sector and where the government don't want to get into things like factories running factories and so, because the government have, it is known traditionally the government don't do a good job at that, which is true. But I want to differ in a way, because I think while government don't supposed to be, don't run in it fully, but I think it is best if government merge with the private sector, because leaving it alone to the private sector, government only will collect some taxes at the end of the year or so. But if government have part in it, if government have a shareholder in it, government will also own some revenue by the profit. And I think this is a good way for government to, you don't just prepare infrastructure so that people could do business, and then you just collect taxes. That's why I think that taxes must be high on people. Government always have to raise taxes, because we don't have the sort of resources that government could just rely on the resources that we have, especially when you're using our natural resources to create a factory. So I think government should really look into that, because, for example, use the Windfresh plant as the example. And I believe, for instance, I feel that is more like the capitalist system, where the 1% is getting rich and the rest of the people are still poor. Well, I believe if government don't make that investment in terms of infrastructure and so on, and then you only collect taxes, I think government should really do a partnership, public-private partnership, so that the government could get other revenue from other sources so they could run the country more efficiently. That is my point today.
Okay, thank you. Gentlemen, you want to make any comments? Yeah, okay, thank you so much. Yeah.
Well, this time, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, but what he's saying there, is that the government should participate, and be part of that in development or whatever. But I tend to differ from that, because of the fact that I believe that if you are the owner and you are running that business, it's in your interest to make sure that the business survives.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a plus if you do that. Now, the government going to collect more taxes, because when your business grows, your taxes are paid according to, earnings, and things of the nature.
Yeah.
But from my experience, when government is running these institutions, it is no good. The government could assist, as the PM said last night, in making sure that you get concessions.
Correct.
To help you to move forward.
And some little softer loans.
And yes, soft loans and things like that. But outside of that, I don't quite agree with that. I believe,
house.
Yeah, you do your own thing. Vibes FM caller, caller, come in. Caller, hello, caller. Okay, we're gonna just take that off there, right here. I think the caller is still on. The caller is still online.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Sorry. Okay, yes, go ahead. You just heard what I was saying.
Now what I'm saying, basically what I'm saying, the private sector will have the major shareholder. They will be running it.
Yeah.
But government will have shares, so that they instead of just collecting tax.
Right.
Some government will be partaking in the profit sharing. And this is how I see it, because, for instance, if I run a business, for instance, and I decide tomorrow I have a factory, and let's say we're using the same agricultural thing and do some agriculture, some manufacturing in agriculture, and I decide, well, tomorrow I close them down. What will happen? I decided, well, I no longer want to run this business. I close down. And it's all this I'm looking at,
Okay.
So it's not just that government is taking away the running of the business from the private sector. Yes, the private sector will be, you because it is best when the private sector run it, for sure. But government does have a share in it in terms of sharing in the profit.
Right.
That is basically what I'm saying.
What?
Okay. No. I understand it quite clearly with the point you're making, and but I don't think governments really want to get involved to that extent. Other than that, they might be here, there, and everywhere in almost every investment, and I don't know if that would be a wise thing.
It won't be in every. I mean, the government wouldn't. I mean, it can't be in every. I'm just looking at major.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, the fact where we're utilizing our natural resources.
Right.
That's basically what's looking.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Point taken. I understand. I understand your view. It's one that could be looked at, But as the PM said last night, that they were there to provide the incentives and to assist. Yes.
True.
Yeah.
True. I understand that.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. I get you.
I think it's something that we should look into.
Yeah.
Something that what I discussed to me.
Yes.
And
yeah. Point well taken.
Anyway,
I like the conversation.
Anyway, the program as usual.
Yes.
As usual, the program is always enlightening.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for your contribution. Right. Okay. Good gentlemen, let me take another call. Landline caller, come in.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, yes.
I just want to make a comment. And Tida's last thing, I'll call it, they get a nice thing, but I call it a thief. Sometime last week, so a guy from St. Andrews lost his whole van with melon and whatever good from his garden, and it destroyed.
Yeah.
And it's kind of beating hard to know that somebody works in the garden so hard and so long, and then when they come to reap their food, the packet of somebody just going just destroyed all. It's a shame and a burning shame. But I think I have a solution for that. I just told you, if the culprit being caught, and I don't think they should put them in prison, because you put them in the prison, then the same man who lost all the million have to work again to man him in the prison, because you have to pay tax to feed him, and that is against him totally. What I recommended that the government should do, put a system in place, when you hold these culprits, that you value whatever the person lost and let them walk the land for that amount of value. If they take the whole month without pay, and then if you were supposed to get them 3 months in prison, one of the month, 2 weeks, a week in every month, you give them a whip, a cane. You cane them and you put them to work for the person that lost, that the thief from, and you put them in a pink shirt and a pink pants to work. Let everybody see the person who do it and let them work. It's because when you put them in the prison, you flog the prison up and they come and do the same thing again. But you put a punishment in that way, they have to go and flog cutlass and do whatever for the 3 months, and you're putting one of these prison officers to make sure that they work, right? From 8 to 4.
Yeah.
For the whole time until they finish paid out, and then when the month up they get a stroke or 2 strokes, whatever it is. Put them in a pink pants, let them work for the right. That's how I think they will limit it. They will think twice before they go and teach someone to make a leg cut. That will be the punishment.
Okay. All right, caller. Thank you. Thank you so much. Speaking about that, there was a story this week with the PM again, as it pertains to, I think this gentleman vehicle was stolen with all his fruits on it, his hard labor. I think they stole it, and he reported it, and the Prime Minister heard about it, and the Prime Minister took the time out one night around 8 o'clock, I think, because there was a clip, in the news where he was speaking, took the time out, visited this gentleman, and spoke with him as it pertains to his loss, what transpired, and how he may be able to assist them, in whatever way. And that farmer, because I believe he was a farmer, was so appreciative, that he had to speak about it, because he says never believe that a prime minister would come to his residence. Who is he? He validated himself. Come to my place and speak with me and make me feel better. And whatever we was able to assist them, you know. I sorry, I don't have the clip to really play that. But if you listen to it, you realize again that the Prime Minister cares for people. And sometimes just him visiting you makes a difference. He gives you that energy. I remember with Beryl, when I heard the story, and the Prime Minister came right here to visit me. And when I saw him, I said, really? This is the Prime Minister, you know, you don't find those things happen, but just by his presence, even though you ain't giving no help, but just being there and encouraging you to don't give up.
Remember, I think I told you I read from this gentleman a long time ago, even before he got involved in politics. We had some conversations, and you could see genuineness when it appears.
Yeah.
There was no need to talk the things that he was talking and how he sees things for Grenada. So when he told me I was getting involved in politics, I'm your first voter because, comparing with what was happening then before he came in to what's happening now, we've seen somebody. Another gentleman, all times people don't know things. I remember this lady talking about Morris Bishop was a criminal and this blah, 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 blah. Circumstances sometimes cause things to go one way or another. But Morris Bishop and I, we shared the common principle. And I had an opportunity to really sit with my old principal, a big man as a student now. And he shared some things with me. And he said, one of the attributes of Morris Bishop, was that he was a very caring person. And a lot of people didn't know that he forgot a scholarship so that a poor child could get it, even though he was more successful academically,
Mm-hmm.
So as a result of that, he said to me when Morris Bishop was leaving for England, he wrote a letter of recommendation, and the concluding line was, his biggest attribute is that he cares about people.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cares about people.
You don't find them too.
No.
Not at all. Vibes FM, caller come in.
Hello?
Yes, caller you on it.
Yes, good afternoon, Tokoy. Tokoy is there?
Yes, he is here.
Solio and
Yes.
Kim.
Yes, Rodney.
Yeah, that last caller, I do agree with the situation with, the farmers to be working hard, doing what they have to do to make a living, and then you have people just walking around, just, idling and watching you go in and out, and then they come in and reap what you actually has sown. So I do agree with him that, something like what he has suggested can be done, because putting folks in prison or wherever it is, you have to feed them. And it's a lot of responsibility on the part of the system,
Mm-hmm.
But if you put them to work, I think it's biblical, to repay back what you really have stolen and taken away from others fraudulently like that.
Mm-hmm.
Someone was asking me in the diaspora how things are going in our country,
Mm-hmm.
and so on with the new administration. And I let them know that they are doing a good job. The working government. It's not a lazy, sluggish government that are in reign at this time. It is a government that we can see the action behind the words.
Mm-hmm.
Most times people talk a lot of things, make a lot of fake promises, as you know, and sometimes a lot of people get fooled by that. But we do have to take chances, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have to take chances. One says, well, okay, if you don't give somebody a chance, or you would, you can't really. And one of the thing I know that with me growing up with this and with the folks and so on, and the many people who have given me the opportunity and chances to perform. And after I've performed, they are very well happy and pleased. And when people are pleased and they are satisfied, they are much healthier than being stressful, right? Dr. Kim, you agree with me?
Yeah, you're right.
Right. So it relieves stress. I mean, if you could get things done and you're happy about what has been done, you are pleased and so on, I think your life on earth would be a little longer.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
And
yes. I have met people and, they call me the problem solver. I love to solve problems. So you find that problem would call my name all the time. But I would like to solve those problems, you know? So no matter what kind of problem it is. And I think we are all here on the earth here to solve problems as well, because it's a problem world. We're born into it. And so we have to go solving it. You have to be teaching and educating and advising and correcting and what have you, right? So we're solving problems in different forms and ways and so on. But adds up to our government that they are doing a good job. Our Honorable Kevin, I heard him. I listened to the program a while ago. I heard him speak. And many promises, and he asked for patience, you know, on the part of we as a community and also the nation, and to, you know, join in support to the government, you know, in what they are embarking upon to get done for us as a people. We all would benefit from it. It is a people's government, and it is the government for the country. It's not just individual, a personal thing, right? As we know, we've been balling out years ago, right? Of all this personal business that was going on there and so on. So we need to look at things holistically as a people and support the administration in the endeavors, in what they are embarking upon doing, because we all would benefit in some way and somewhat. So thank you again. This is my contribution for today.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay. Right. Next caller waiting. What's up? Hello. Yes. Come in. Yes, you're on now.
Yeah. Good day to the Vibes FM. Always big up. Yeah, well, listen to all the different stories. I think we are the brilliant people. We have to change the mindset of our people. And earlier on, I heard one of your callers spoke about the change in the Congo. There is a coup d'etat in the Congo. I've been followed up on a station, Big John. There is some form of the chief of the army has been shot dead, and over 60 people so far unconfirmed dead. But there is a major change in the Congo, and I've been following through last. It happened about 2-3 days ago. Last night there was a big release, and they shut down all form of communications. Because the US was planning to stage the operation from the Congo to get into Burkina Faso to overthrow Ibrahim. So Ibrahim is said that they make the first move due to intelligence and shut down the Congo. But just looking at the Congo, we're looking at Guyana and Venezuela with this election they want to have in the Essequibo region, you know. And then when you come back to our Grenada issue, the Grenada crisis, if you keep the people blindfolded and uneducated, we have so many people in this country here that still, I don't know what happened to our Grenadian people. They're not listening to news, they're not following current affairs. How are we going to get out of that? We look back from 79 to 83. It's a similar thing now in the Africa region. Fighting, black man fighting black man. And Grenada issue, I believe our Prime Minister, President Prime Minister, man I see as another Abraham Traore. He should have already uncovered some of these things and unmask some of these maskmen, as the old Mitchell used to be saying. A lot of people in this country are definitely creating problems, and they don't want to see us go forward. And I believe time is of the essence. A lot of people have to be taken to task. We don't care who jump up, who make noise. It's getting too late, and that is something that will cause a lot of religion to get despondent. Because we have the whole head is to put people behind bars or take them to justice. There's a lot of people that still within the system that are very influential and creating havoc. And you cannot be playing games with these people. You need to let them know, hey, we spot you out, we call you out, do what you, stand the consequences. Because in the long run, the country is suffering from a lot of the people that are there in key places. All they care about is the $1 million to stash away, and the country mashing up. A lot of people do the wrong thing and they have to get licks, no matter what we say. So we have to let them know. We know the licks, but identify them, call them out, and let them know, hey, you did that, and that is the charge we have against you. We have to do it. But beyond that, I see the way forward. Forever, we cannot go back and run. And at the same time, we have to be careful. Look out. Don't just go to sleep, because there is people working very hard to destroy the country. Because these people don't care. There is a lot of people working tirelessly, hard, day and night to see the downfall of this system. So my friends, just keep up the good work. A lot to say, there is so many things that we could really talk about. And daily, I like to listen to you. And just keep the flag flying high.
All right.
Long live. Long live.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay, bye-bye. Yeah.
Hi.
Let me just remind our listeners again. I got the lines opening. 443-0101. 443-0101. 403-0101. And 458-1914. 458-1914. As we continue with our discussions, and it's good when people are making this sort of contributions, because you're getting the opinions. See, that's the only way we could really learn, in dialogue. Listen to one another. Listen to what each other is saying, and then we could take steps from there. And I could see many of this happening now in our communities, but it's going to take a while before we get to the promised land, as we all heading for there, right?
And then we have a lot of work to do, eh?
A lot of work to do. There's no if about it,
Because I, for the life of me, I cannot understand. Again, when you know what we had and know what we have, what is it that you can see the difference? What more do you require to see the difference? We our things, and I think I don't know if it's embarrassment or what it is, but some people they're out of argument, but they still won't give up.
Well, that's human beings in particular. They always, you find those kind of things happening. Vibes FM, landline caller, come in. Caller, you next.
Vibes FM, yes. I just call in correction of the caller who called and said that the uprising takes place in Congo. That Congo is Ivory Coast.
Ivory Coast, yes.
Yeah.
Ivory Coast.
Yeah.
I just follow up all the news what going on in Africa, and Africa is rising right now.
Yeah.
Africa is rising,
Yeah,
from
but
them
definitely.
puppet government and that. That's
Yeah,
what Western government to exploit the resources. Yeah. So that is what already going on.
Okay. All right.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, okay. What's happening right now, as you realize, Africa is rising, and they're speaking out, and they're getting a lot of attention in the world today. So, you're going to find some, I don't know what to call them, trying to see if they could suppress them.
Contras.
Yeah.
Contras, that's what we know. Because somebody else, when you look at my boy, and we spoke about him a couple of weeks ago, this youngster in Burkina Faso. Guys, I mean, the things that the guys is doing, the programs that he's implementing, I see about a lot of stuff for agriculture. So we're tired buying from people, and we want to do for ourselves. And he had the French, the French was...
Well, the French used to control them.
Yeah. The French were just taking out all the gold and France now.
Ripping them.
France now was known, I forget what the number is, very high number as a gold supplier or gold producer.
And they have nothing.
They have brass. Taking all people's stuff on.
All right. Yeah. Gentlemen, hold a second. Next, landline caller, WhatsApp caller first. WhatsApp caller coming.
Sir.
Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
Just one correction there. The gentleman was on par, but he says the Congo. It was Ivory Coast that the French and the United States using to stage the attack against Traoré. That's why in the match on the 25th, they tell him if they interfere with Traoré, they're coming for him.
Right. Yeah.
And last night they went after him and they removed him from office. And the Western media refused to bring it for the world to see, just like the match they had in Africa and other countries for Traoré. They refused to bring it, but social media, they couldn't stop covering it.
Yeah.
I just went on social media there,
Yes,
and I get more confirmation of what happened.
Yeah, right. That's
Okay,
correct. Oh, okay, caller. All right, thank you so much. Next, WhatsApp caller, Cohen. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. I just want to change the topic a little. The Prime Minister had this face to face with the journalists. What after one evening it is? What Tuesday I think.
DMs with PM. Yeah.
Yeah, DM with PM.
Yeah.
And he spoke about these vehicles parking on the side of the road. This thing was troubling me so much. You know, if I had call last week, I would have talked about it. And especially in Corinth, there is a vehicle parked there for a number of years. Vehicles bouncing the vehicle. And that vehicle is not moving, is not moving, is not moving. I think that we are supposed to support the Prime Minister and the government with those type of things. Too much of vehicle. Those that license, those what don't license. As a matter of fact, the vehicle what is not licensed have no right to be on the side of the road. On the road or even on the side of the road, because you never know that one day you might have to use the side of the road or the sidewalk to avoid accident. I think there is a vehicle parked up there and causing a lot of problems. I think we have to support the government in implying those rules or the laws. It is too dangerous. Like since this administration came in, Granans Valley change is not 100%, but it's much better than how it was with the previous administration. We have to get our roads, we have to get it back in order. We are just so lawless. Everybody going and drink and this and pack up the whole side of the road. If you go to St. Paul's and those type of places, you're seeing those things and there's so much accident. We have to do something about that.
Yeah.
And the next thing I just want to talk about, well, I live in the States. And I have a new vehicle up here. I have a new vehicle back home. Both of them bought around the same time. I service, my vehicle, I could say it's between 2 to 3 years. I service my vehicle in January. And now I service my vehicle. I service my vehicle in December, and I service my vehicle in May. The next time I have to service my vehicle is in November. But the vehicle I have in Grenada, I have to be servicing my vehicle 4 times for the year. 4 times for the year. And not only when you serve, every 4 months, every 40 months, you have to service your vehicle. And still yet for all, your vehicle giving problems and things like that. Every time you buy a vehicle in Grenada, it's like you commit a crime and you have to pay for it. Long time, when I was much younger, we bought a vehicle and they give you the mileage, they give you, if not the mileage, they give you the time to come back and service it. I see they change those type of things now. they program your vehicle every 3 months. You have to service your vehicle. You know,
Yeah.
and I find that when you buy a vehicle, you know, like you commit a crime and you have to pay for it, and the amount of money you have to be paying. Like you do something wrong in buying a vehicle back home. Why we cannot have it like how it was back in the 80s and thing where they give you as okay, how much months or how much mileage? I find we supposed to be looking into those type of things, and also the vehicles that park on the side of the road. We need to change these type of things. And all right, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Jay. Next caller, caller landline. What's up, caller? Yeah, what caller you on now?
Hi.
Yes, go
Hi,
ahead.
Mr. Kim.
Yes, hello, yeah.
Hi, Mr. Kim, Mr. Coy, Mr. Leo. I have a question. I need to know if the former prime minister is still collecting a salary.
Well,
I haven't seen him show up for anything.
Well,
when you say I'm collecting a salary as what?
You mean in Parliament?
In Parliament, because he hasn't been showing up.
No.
He hasn't been there to represent his constitution. So is he still collecting his salary? Do you guys know if he still is collecting a salary?
Well, I would imagine that. I think so. I don't know. I didn't hear anything like him not collecting one. Maybe he's not showing up, but maybe there's a reason for him not showing up, and maybe there's a clause for him to be absent. I don't know. I don't really want to.
Well, as far as the salary is concerned,
yeah.
he's not well.
Parliamentarians get a salary.
Parliamentarians, yes, do get a salary. But in terms of, I mean, that's why I ask in terms of what, because he's not the leader of the opposition.
Okay, so who is he representing?
He's representing the Northwest, his constituency.
St. George's Northwest. And that is where he gets, of course, one of the sources of income.
Well, no, forget the 10,000.
Yeah, well, right.
That is allotted for the constituency.
Yeah.
But this caller is asking a question there, whether or not he's been paid.
Well, right. He's been paid
as a parliamentarian.
MB.
Yes. Even though he's not showing up.
Even though he's not showing up.
the showing up part, the Parliament will have to, and the Speaker and them will have to put rules in place and say, well, members ought not to miss 4 or 3 consecutive meetings. Accordingly, I'm just saying, they have to put some rules in place.
Because the Prime Minister was speaking to, as pertaining to him not being present in many occasions in Parliament, maybe make a short presentation and then walking out, before, long before. So there might be some dialogue around that, but right now I can't really go into any detail on that. But what you're saying, it needs to be addressed though. You have to show up to work. You have to show up to work. You have to show up to work.
Another question I have I need to speak about is the fact that I think the Grenadian government should start putting up cameras for speeding and all the accidents that's been happening in Grenada. Maybe that will not have them speed that much anymore. I know they're complaining that the speed bumps are too high and they're breaking up the vehicles, but what about the speeding, going around corners, parking on the streets? And this is very inconvenient for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I think they need to be more strict and maybe bring something more in Parliament to speak about the issues like this that's affecting the people more.
Yeah. That's a problem we have here. But they're going to need a lot of cameras, though, because, of the way, maybe at strategic points, those cameras could be erected. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes
sense. Guys, keep up the good work.
All right, thank you.
I like listening to you. I'm a first-time caller. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, right. There's a caller let me see if we have the other callers waiting. Let me make sure that no one is left behind, okay? The caller before spoke about the parking issue.
Mm-hmm.
And the Prime Minister, in his presentation, discussion on Tuesday, did speak about it.
Parking?
Because parking because someone raised the issue and saying that because of the parking, it's making it difficult for traffic to flow properly. And one of the problems that he highlighted is that many people are buying a vehicle with no place to park it, and they believe that the public road is the basically parking lot. They use it as a parking lot, and that is posing a problem because in many places the roads are very narrow. So how do you go about to make some difference in there?
Well,
yeah,
I know, but I think we raised it here in the past about vehicles parked on the side of the road, taking up all the road and even wrong corners. But I think one of the things they ought to do, when you purchase a vehicle, you would have to say, answer all those questions. Answer all those questions. Where do you, do you have place to unpack it? Or if the answer is no, what arrangements are you making? Because the public road ought not to be used
as a parking lot.
In any way. Even, the officers from the station in Kaikuya come and I speak to them mostly on Wednesdays. And the issue of parking, they continue to lament. People have to be serious about parking and don't just park anywhere. So it has to be. I think some serious action have to be taken. I made a joke about saying if you when you're buying, and you should tell them where you're parking. But of course, no. But the idea is you have to ensure that when you purchase a vehicle, you have all the necessary things. You can't say, well, I don't have all 4 tires. I only have 3.
Okay, now if you parked in the road and a vehicle were to hit you, damage your vehicle, should you be liable?
If you park in the road?
The person who hit the vehicle. You park in the road.
Yeah. You're not supposed to go through unless you have clearance. So you can mount somebody's vehicle to pass.
Yeah, but they're posing problems because it's a problem. It's a big problem that's been developing. There's so many vehicles in Grenada.
And more coming, eh?
Yeah.
When I started Carriacou.
Well, Carriacou, yeah.
I have a lot more vehicles than people. But a lot of direct vehicles on the road. There are a lot of vehicles that are no longer usable. And all about the place going on less there. Right around Snazzy Pazi Catholic Church, there are about 4 or 5 around there. See if sometimes you could look at the number plate and see who owns the vehicle. Charge them for literally,
But there has been numerous calls for people to remove their vehicles that are parked and that are no longer used. I've heard Minister Williams talking about that.
But there was
they'll be going around and
there was a campaign that was going on over the last couple of months. I remember pertaining to that. But let me get back to that. Vibes FM caller, thank you for waiting. Caller, come in. Caller, hello.
Yes, hear me?
Yeah. Caller.
Yeah. Tim, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm hearing you now. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Here's my 2 cents about the vehicles parking on the side of the road. Right. I think what they should do is they should have like tow trucks. Government should have like tow trucks. Like maybe every parish should have like a public works area where they have their tow trucks and stuff like that. And those trucks should not only focus in town, but like go on the outskirts of town, everywhere. And vehicles that are parked illegally, ticket them.
Yeah.
Ticket them. Make the ticket, it's substantial, like $200 every time you get a ticket. And if you didn't pay the ticket, and that ticket accumulated to a certain amount, then you tow them.
have an area, a designated area in every parish where you fence around this area and have a little booth in there, have just one person working in there. And you tow the car in there. So that's where they go pick their car up when you get towed. And then if you have to tow the car, then you charge them like a $500 or something. Like,
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
kind of like, a little revenue in itself.
Mm.
And if you only have a tow truck driver and one person at one of those booths, that's only two people you have to pay. I'm pretty sure you can find you can tow enough vehicles to pay these two people and maybe put the money into the government's pocket as well.
Yeah.
So that's my take on it.
All right. Okay.
And also the government will have to do their part too. Like they go around and put up signs, on the side of the road that says no parking.
No parking. Yeah.
Anytime.
Right.
Maybe for the next mile or 2 miles or however, but you gotta have signs so at least people can see the sign. There's a sign that says no parking. Right?
Yeah.
And then so that's just my take on it.
Okay, now what you saying makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Let me try to take another call quickly. Vibes FM, landline caller.
Yes, good afternoon to everybody. Good
Yes,
afternoon to my adopted cousin Leo, because one of my grandmothers was a Joseph.
Okay.
Catherine Joseph.
All right.
I don't know if you've ever heard that name in your line, but I have adopted you now as cousin Leo.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes. I'm saying no. I believe it's time for the program to start celebrating for Carriacou. So many things, nice things happening for Carriacou. Okay, let's look at the first one. The first one, Carriacou was in Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Second one, Carriacou brought home gold for Carifta. No, again,
hold a second now. You passed over the Super Bowl too fast. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, go back again. Our very own Bullen.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. When I saw the presentation, I didn't recognize that he was in there, But when I did the research and I saw what transpired, made me even more proud that a Carriacou one ended up in Super Bowl. We're talking about, caller.
But wait now.
Yeah.
Hoping this catch is them valid nephew. We'll check it out now.
Oh, wait. We never even track the family down. Okay. All right, okay. Well, there was a Super Bowl. That was a goal as far as I'm concerned. Next one now.
No, the Carifta now. Again, somebody from Carriacou brought home gold. Again.
Yes.
And then now you have the Chelsea Flower Show featuring now the Sugar Mill at Bel Air in Carriacou.
And you bring them gold again.
And it's gold again. I tell you, God smiling on Carriacou.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. And that Bel Air, that Sugar Mill.
Yes.
That area has interesting history, We keep forgetting that we were French. We were once French.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was a French estate. That's why it has a French name.
Bel Air.
Right. Yes. It means beautiful land.
Yeah.
Bel Air. Right. Well, after that, when the British came and they won the part there, they won the Grenada in the war. Right. So they, the colonial people started coming with their people and they owned the estates. That sugar mill, the point I'm going to make is that sugar mill came down in history from 17-something and still standing there, untouched. Yes? Untouched, unbroken. It's still standing there. It giving competition to all the walls those men building when time for election, because they're building it now by the side of the road, and then next election they break down and they have to build them again. Yeah? That sugar mill is standing there untouched. And there was a house near to it. The estate house was right there. Up to the revolution, it was a camp. I sure quite know that.
Yeah. I know. I used to operate right about 20 feet away from that mill, That's where my antennas were at one time.
Oh.
So I know it very, very well. And I used to go inside and do my observation, try to climb to the top, because, there's ways of getting up there.
In the sugar mill, you mean?
In the sugar mill, yes. And
right.
I
but let's talk about the estate house.
Yeah, well, the house is really basically, I mean, just some walls
well, the
now.
estate house was bombed.
Yes.
Recently, during the
the invasion.
Right, because it was Camp Karakou.
Right.
Was it?
But not
for
Camp
the
Karakou.
How you used to be in it?
Camp Bele.
Camp Karakou is really
down in the
south.
south.
Down the south,
yes.
yes.
But it was a camp.
Mashallah.
What was the name of it?
It was the PRG and the units up there.
I think at the time it ended. It was called Camp Mashi.
Oh, because they said they told me they started in Top Hill.
Yes.
And then they went down to Bele.
Right.
But they couldn't remember the name, so they tell me call it Camp Karakou.
Okay.
So you are saying it's Camp what?
Mashi.
I think it's
Mashi.
Yeah,
Mashi.
it could be, yeah.
Mashi was one of the soldiers. Yes.
Yeah, he was one of the
who died.
soldiers.
In circumstances.
Okay. And then coming now the intervention / invasion, and they say they heard a loud explosion in that house and it went up in flames. So there goes another tourism attraction. Yeah?
Yeah.
Cousin Leo,
Yes,
you miss me back. I should have been there with the group with Supat and them.
Oh, yeah?
That's my girlfriends.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
That's the second time they're coming by you, isn't it?
Yes, that is yes. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And they said they went out and they looked at the mail and whatnot, and I sit down here and I said, oh gosh. Anyhow.
Well, don't make it happen again.
Okay. Right, yes. So you must big up that area, because I believe that they could turn that area into a little Chelsea flower garden.
Okay.
Yeah. Because when you look at the Chelsea show, you see they made a replica and it was very expensive to reproduce in England.
Yeah.
But so you can take the picture and put plants and make a nice little Chelsea garden, a little replica.
Okay.
What do you think for Karakou?
Well, yeah. What you're saying makes a lot of sense, eh? And
somebody tell me a crazy man take over the mill. I say, well, if tourism won't take it over, leave the man.
No. But let me give you a quick story. Yeah. That mill in particular, because my antennas are right there, and I was trying to see if I could get some assistance with some donors or some good person out there or company out there to see if we could bring it back to its original state, And I was in the process of doing that back then, and I got some confirmation and some support from a group out in California that were going to come down and do some inspection in there. But at that time, me and the Diablo government had some little issues, and they run me from the spot. Well, they basically tried to run me from the spot. So I sort of gave up on that. But they were going to come down and investigate it and see if they could put it back the way it was. And that would have been so nice,
But what do you mean put it back the way we're looking at the mill standing there?
No, I'm talking in operation.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Because
it is not, when you look at the Antique Roadshow, they always advise against tampering with the remains of antique. They say that takes away from it, because you would put modern things into it and confuse it.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they always advise, I like to look at the Antique Roadshow, and they always advise against repairing things and fixing things and so. Yes?
But the beauty about that in particular is that the entrance or the arch that you're going through, the size of the stones that they used to make that arch. Up to this day, I wonder how they do that.
Right.
We have to cast concrete now with steel and all kind of things like that to create something of the nature. But they did that with stones. You see the size of the stones and the weight of those stones.
Because Kim, again, as Cousin Leo said earlier on, we have to rearrange our thoughts. We keep forgetting that it was the developed world that came down here to develop Grenada. We keep forgetting that that part all the time. Look at the wall that's in St. George's near to government's house. Yeah? That wall in the 1950-something Island in the Sun movie, you know.
Yeah.
And it's still standing there. Because big companies that used to come down, Hills and Higgs, I think the last big one was Wimpy. Big companies that used to come down and do the thing. It's not little, like, okay, they have taught us the story of slavery in a wrong way. They have taught us wrong. Okay? So until we understand that, we will always keep looking down on the old time days. We would always keep, because the French were the first people to bring slaves here, you know, and the French owned the estates. But the slavery that we normally refer to now is the transatlantic slave trade. That's a company.
Yeah.
But slavery started in the Bible. Slavery was an accepted working class, working force. Slavery started.
Yeah.
Up to today, they still have slavery going on in different parts of the world up to today. Anyway, let's get back to what I was saying. It's celebration time for Karaku. I believe, yes?
I agree with you. And let me tell you what, you know, something that we have, and I'd hate to see it go. You see the black tank down by the old police station, by Resource Center. Actually, that is what's used to supply the Resource Center with rainwater, you know.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
And that has been there as old as Carriacou. So my idea is an 8-sided tank, you know.
Yeah, right, yeah. It's different.
Yeah. So I was asking, I'd suggested to Mr. Nemoran so that if I'll assist, well, I did actually, go inside and put some concrete inside it because it's cast iron.
Right.
And if it's supply building materials, I'll do the roof, but it never happened. The plan was to make that the Carriacou Department of Defense because the octagon, eh?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Not the Pentagon, but the
octagon.
Yes.
Yeah,
but it never materialized.
Right.
And that I know that could be a tourist attraction because if taking somebody to see the octagon or the Department of Defense to find out it's all black tank with water, all water is.
So when you take those tourists now to the sugar mill, people must remember to tell them also it was in modern history during the revolution. The building next the estate house was used during the revolution. They must remember to add that piece too. Whether we don't like the history or not, we have to, there are pages in our book. Yes, so I believe that we have to keep telling people and explaining to people and so, yeah?
Okay.
But I love the Chelsea picture there. That crowned it all.
That was it.
Yeah? And I'll make a little secret public, yes? The leader of the Chelsea Flower Show is my first sister.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Congrats on that one. Something was new.
Yes. It's my first sister.
Well, congratulations again.
Right. Well, thank you. Thank you. And she did whisper in my ear that they're going to feature Karakou, but I had to keep that a secret because they like to boss it after.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, you did a good job.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you again.
Okay. Bye-bye. Let me see if I take another caller. Caller, you there? This caller has been there for a while. Caller? What's up, caller? Landline caller? Hello? Hello? All right. It doesn't seem like okay. That caller, we're not getting through there, but it's still online. Okay. There's a hello? Caller, you all right. Okay. A caller called a while ago and was speaking about this parking that needs to be regulated. Yeah. And I believe that is something that should be worked on as of yesterday. Because at one time they added the derelict vehicles, taking them out and trying to clean up as much as they can. But right now, with the amount of vehicles coming into Grenada, Carriacou, we have problems. We don't have place to park. and people are parking on the roads.
And
then when you're driving now, it becomes a problem, especially when they're parking around corners.
Well, that, and even though around what we used to call Newman Corner.
Yeah.
You know, by how many are good to go.
Yeah.
Somebody brilliantly wrote a no parking sign, but it should not be no parking, it should be no standing.
Yeah.
Because you sitting in the car and
it's still obstructing traffic.
And making for a blind situation. But you see, what has to be done, and hopefully, well, I don't see it as happening just yet, but the roads in Hillsborough, we need to do a whole resurfacing of the roads and the sidewalks and so on and so forth.
Well, let me just step in for a second there, because the minister was talking this morning about the revitalization plan for Hillsborough.
Yes.
And I think that is in the making.
Yeah.
To do over all the sidewalks proper, the road itself needs. Oh, that's been there since.
Yeah, man. This thing
ever since.
You have some drains there on Hillsborough, but any place else, if it was the United States, somebody that have been sued every Monday.
Yes.
They throw themselves down just to sue somebody.
Yeah, but that needs to be done, and I believe that in the process to the possibility of a parking lot in Hillsborough.
So long I've been
one of
saying
the things,
the old tennis court.
The old tennis court, I believe, would be the ideal place.
Yeah, elevated parking lot.
Elevated. Yeah, get 2 floors right there. Four. 4. Well, you could go as much as you could go, but because you would no longer need that area that call the tennis court, and it would be ideal right in the middle of town, convenient to everyone to have a nice parking lot, the paid parking lot, of course.
That two, the amount of cars they have in Carriacou now, 2 floors will be a waste of time. You need to go 4 floors and the roof.
Okay. Oh, the roof too.
Yeah,
so that's 5.
5. And because something like that, you could fabricate it still right in Trinidad,
Yeah.
Build all your
everything.
Yeah.
And just ship it across.
Ship it across and just put
bolt it in, bolt them down.
Bolt it down.
Yes.
And then
next level
you cross in and out.
Yeah, because even with the pre-slabs.
Yeah, well, precast slabs.
Precast slabs, yeah.
You said you do some precast slabs in Trinidad, just go and install them. When that and you yes, man.
One of the things I've been thinking about is that in part of my own reasoning, that probably one of the reasons why we can't do nothing or nothing much has been done about parking, about indiscriminate parking, is because we don't have parking systems, place to park. So because these vehicles that are parked anywhere, it is an offense. The point is they can be removed and drivers, owners can be charged. But of course, they're not doing it because, I think, as I said, my own thinking here is that there is no alternative.
See, by the grace of God, we need that so-called local government. Some people who are caring enough to understand the things that are needed urgently. Going up to Montreal in Big Road, after you leave Top Hill, going across to Montreal.
Where the house is in the road?
Not only that, but there is when you almost get to Big Road itself by Modest, there is that hill that come from Macaca, base of Macaca.
On top of the
base of Macaca. That should be widened.
Yeah.
There was a talk one time, about widening that, and I think based on the information I got is that the owner of the property gave the right of way.
Yes,
to the government to go ahead and cut it and take whatever you need.
Yes,
because
it's the greater good,
Yes.
You don't have people ending in everybody's life because of poverty.
I think that was the talk was getting even hotter, but that was just before burial, and I don't know if that has been discussed right now because there's a lot of pressing issues that they're trying to deal with.
And even by J, when you lift up again and go into Montreal, But I remember years ago, Mr. Andrew, he used to drive the bus in the mornings, you know, and if he's Nick. And if he has to go to Grenada for a while, and somehow he liked me and he trusted me. So he asked me to go before we get to work, make the first run for him in the morning. And I was driving the bus. When I leave, what is it called? The top will go into Montreal. Somebody said, "Hey, child, put me down. I'm going." Because that is a scary little place, you know.
Yes.
That by GA.
Yeah,
put me down, I'm going, yes. So a lot of things could be done with the roads at Carriacou. They tell us that Carriacou have a good network of roads, you know, because the French used those networks to transport the ammunition when they were fighting the British. If you check Carriacou out good, Carriacou not only have a ring road, you should be able to drive past Petit Carnage, come through not Prospect.
Prospect, I mean.
Yeah, Prospect and come right around.
Yeah.
See, get a.
Well, the roads are there, you know. It's just not motor.
Yes.
I did it once.
Yes.
With my 4x4, yes.
But
I came right through.
And you look at these things, you know, when you check on the amount of money that gone shrimp farm, on call center, on precious gem, on all kind of ratify business, and no attention was paid to Carriacou. Your health situation is in shambles. What you do with the money? And then people still jumping up on the ball. They're voting for this person, they vote for that person. No attention is paid to you.
It's all right. Sorry.
Oh, I can understand. So, as far as I'm concerned, I have a picture. Oh, it's on your phone.
Yeah.
Google it, Carriacou 69.
Oh, yes, I remember.
And you'll see the Windward Jetty right before Barrows, the same thing. No change, you know.
From 69?
Yes. And before that, too.
Well, I mean, yes.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
As far as these guys are concerned, Carriacou is just a stepchild. You know, some child growing up with the stepmother. And stepmother come from a bad marriage. If you go to live with your stepmother and your actual mother and your stepmother was fighting for your father, you're in bad shape, you know.
Caller, what's up? What's up, caller? What's up, caller? Caller, COVID. Caller, COVID. Yes, good.
I'm forced to come back here because that's a subject I touched on Vibes FM, I think 2 Thursdays ago. The problem we have with parking on the side of the road in Grenada lays at the feet of physical planning. You see, when you send a plan to physical planning to approve for your construct a building, they sit down on the LRL, work out the maths, and if the maths is correct, they approve the plan. Do they visit the site where they intend to build? 2, do they do soil tests to know if the weight of the building could stay on the site? Yeah, I know a house building Mongi, and shortly after it finished, the people married, and when they go in a few months later, they all start to live in a concrete house. Because no testing of the soil, and it was on dump up. But a lot of building after it built, it was up. But let me show you the real problem there. To approve a plan, they must come and see where you're constructing the building. Let you know the distance from the road you're supposed to build. Okay? You're supposed to have at least a driveway, even if you don't have a car yet. Because look what happened. They all build on the side of the road. Some of them, they come over the drain between the property and the road. Okay, so from that, they're stepping straight in the road. Now, when you build a house on the side of the road, where you're parking your vehicle, not on the side of the road?
Yep.
So I could tell you, if you come in the lines in Grand Nancy, and you come to Circular Driveway in the evening, the amount of vehicles they park up on both sides of the road, especially across Circular Drive. You want them before the road built, where was these vehicles then? And that happened throughout Grenada, except in the places that are mountainous areas where nobody living. So then this thing in physical planning has to change. I believe Now they had a program on your station some time ago, physical planning.
Yeah.
And I raised the question to them, and I asked if physical planning have tips, meaning if they have the law with them, and they said yes. So then, if they have the law with them, why they don't use it? They create the problem in Grenada. Anyway, government build a road in a community, as they open it to become a parking lot. Check the Montu Road. I spoke about it when they had the public up from Wall Street to the stadium. The police had to close the road right by Pulse, Radisson. So traffic going down to Granada to go up Montu.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And it took me about 30 minutes or more just to pass through Montu to Sugar Mill.
Yeah.
Why? Vehicles park up on the side of the road, traffic coming to and fro, up and down on that same road.
Right.
Yeah. That month is a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
And the police didn't even see it fit.
Mm.
So let the vehicle owners in Montu know from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. no vehicle passing along the Montu main road. Then you must know what was a real problem.
Yeah.
But physical planning have to get up and do the work. The government have to make sure that the law is enforced, and it's the police officers to enforce it, so our roads will be free.
Yeah.
At night, and nearly lose our house at night around 2 o'clock. When the fire brigade was going in Venom to put on the fire, you have to put on the Lord hand to wake up to move your vehicle. And when the fire brigade pass them, pass back there again, that should be inside the stuff. Who wants to say government this, government that? We have to run. We have to stop using the government road for parking.
But Caller, I agree with you about physical planning, except for the fact that I would say that the integrity of the soil that you're building on should be the owner's responsibility. So when you're submitting your plans to physical planning, you should have, for example, what building you're going to build and the beams and the columns that you're using structurally sound and could take it. But the ground that is going on for the foundation, that should be determined by the owner or the owner's representative if it's suitable for that.
So who will we have here to test soil?
Oh,
test soil?
of course, they should have somebody private here. If not, pay somebody in physical planning, but it should not be the government or the physical planning's responsibility for that. That's what I'm saying. You're building on your property, that property is yours. The integrity of that soil should be your responsibility when you're submitting your plans. In other words, if you're building on tar line, you're building on sand, you're building on mud, that is your responsibility to make that determination where you're building, not physical.
Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But they need to correct this whole thing so that
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The parking. Okay, caller, thank you. The parking issue, I think, could be solved. Let me tell you, Solio. Once I was in Manhattan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we went there and doing a little shopping.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the sign says no parking.
Mm-hmm.
But you're trying to see. So I leave my partner inside the vehicle to sit down there while I go shopping.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened is that he was there and waiting for me, kind of fall asleep to a little, the tow truck came. Just jack him up. So when the tow truck was pushing him with up the car, he woke up.
Yeah.
So he trying to tell them, hey, listen, I'm here, you know. They're here too. They're dragging him inside the car to a pond somewhere around Manhattan. And then when he got out now, he had to go into the office and pay for the pond and the towing before he could get out.
Yes.
Before he could get out. Now, when I came out now, I ain't see him. I say he must make a little wrong, And things like that. waiting. And those days we didn't have cell phones yet.
Yeah.
So I just wondering what happened to my partner and the vehicle and things like that. Later on, when he came, he gave me the story.
Yeah, but somebody who towed the vehicle is such a luck. Because it's illegal to a vehicle with somebody inside it.
Well, they did it.
Yeah, they do. You find that. You find fellas doing wrong things every day.
But if we have a system in Grenada where you have tow trucks operating and taking vehicles off the street and put them in a pong in lot, this problem would be solved.
We have in Grenada, and we have one. I remember one time
and they have boots.
Yeah.
And they have boots.
Yes. So what I'm saying that I believe a lot of these things are happening because the laws are not being enforced.
Exactly.
Yeah, people just turning a blind eye to all of these things. And when it happened rare. One in a long distance, and then when it happened, people started to talk, forgetting that this thing has been going on for years. Yeah, but we have to enforce the law in areas, especially in areas as this that could cause such a great problem to people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To the communities in which where they are.
We give them a privilege, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes if we intend to make progress, in some instances, we have to be a little more like Singapore.
Mm.
We do know what we want to do. We said they say on the biggest sign on the airport, the penalty for drug is death.
That is death.
Yeah.
Once they catch you, yes.
Yeah, and they tell you no graffiti. You remember that American kid?
Yes.
That is death.
Yep.
Good morning, Doc.
Okay, well, before you go further, let me take a call quickly. Vibes FM, caller come in.
Thank you very much again. Pleasant good day. Well, it has been a good morning. I enjoyed the time. Well, the afternoon is good, so good still. Yeah, well, I didn't take on the park. I am guilty of parking on the side of the road. I've been doing that for all of. The truth about it is, the property that I inherited from my parents, it was built about probably 3-4 feet off the road. You know? So that is something that I recognize has been happening from not now, way before even Janet and whatnot, etc. So today, yes, people, the government has the ability through the PDA and whatnot to avoid that, just in case they want to ride and whatnot, etc. But the parking on the side of the road, there should be particular streets and there should be particular times. It's probably the only way we could curb that situation, you know. I myself also have a problem with the noise. You know, there's that guy who calls on the next radio station every morning and he speaks out about noise and whatnot. I'm open for 2 mornings, but where I live, I have a problem with noise pollution. Those guys, I mean, the way they do the thing, I can't imagine why they have to do it this way. I mean, they roll out the horn for well over a minute. They just honk it from, let me see, 1, 2, 3, about maybe 400 yards, you know, in their drive, you know. I can tell you from Technical Junction to a place down by the old schools in St. David's, you know. And I wonder why guys do that, you know. The house I live in, so gosh, it ricochets in my head. You know, the acoustics coming in, especially if I'm inside the room and whatnot. I have to if I'm listening to a program, what's off, you know. There are all other loud music parts and whatnot. So I would only hope, because the Prime Minister spoke for that 2-3 years, as maybe in Parliament at Christmas, the first Christmas he spoke of. And I wish that, you know, he would actually become a little bit more proactive in that. You know, I love his word merit. I love his word merit. And I would have, personally speaking, if I run up a political party and win an election, when I get inside it, all prominent secretaries, and I will have a full-up meeting with them and give them a particular time so that they show me exactly all what's on the desk, And within a given time, I switch them around and I switch the whole entire system around. And then we start changing. Before I go last of all, the Constitution of Grenada, and I'm contemplating and maybe protesting, starting a protest action. It is a one-man thing with a placard. Because, you know, the state owes me and nothing is even happening. And then, even though the Prime Minister and advising to the Attorney General. But you know what I'm saying here? Before that had happened, I had written him a letter. I mean, I can't confirm that he got the letter. So just in case he didn't get the letter, I excuse him. But if he had gotten that letter, he never responded because I made manifold problems to him since I'm a little child. You know, my godfather, who was my parents' executor, and to this day, a portion of land is still probably in his hand, and he's dead and gone, or in his nephew's hand. I mean, even the great man Thomas, I mean, he let me know so much because I was his property. And 3 months after the matter was held, and I knew nothing of the matter. I just imagine it. 2 people had predicted that man Thomas will betray you with Wilkinson in the courthouse. And you know, that matter really came up in the High Court. And I never knew. I was not there, and I think when what they say, HTC or Granny or whatever term they use. And so I got kicked out of the property. I mean, today I'm different. You know, 40-something years after the revolution, that constitution, I approached Maurice Bishop on that constitution, and a couple times, well, I could never forget in the radio station in Butler House, opposite by Koyaba, there, the street and whatnot. In two other places up in Mariga, in Port Snowston and the White House, in Tivoli. I mean, Maurice Bishop smoked ganja. I mean, from Bashi, roll it for himself and whatnot, and whatnot, etc. in them. And then turn around and call me among and put me in Mobile. And then, yeah, that was point that extra food and food and whatnot.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, caller.
But I really like that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Okay. Dr. Pett is in the house. Dr. Pett. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
I'm okay. Good afternoon to the great Sir Leo and to the great Sir Kai just now. And, well, Kim had his knighthood already. So Kim in Mills.
You may house call, eh?
Okay.
You may house call. Never dog by me.
Nice free service.
Okay.
On the house.
Okay. Yeah, Dr. Pett. Okay. But I know you just came back from a trip, right?
Yes, sir.
Way out. Tell us where you were. Your experience out there.
The place of love, where you wear this big hat, nice hat.
Is it Mexico, Brazil?
No, not Mexico.
No,
Europe.
Let me see what.
Country of love. The language is love. A lot of love in the language.
Not Portugal, though?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's close to London, close to England.
Oh, France?
Yes, sir.
Okay. They said yeah. And the French? The language is the most.
Parlez français. Très bien.
So where did you go in?
Leon. I went to the bread and Billican in Paris. You went to.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that's nice. What was
the
experience?
City. The experience was really good. I mean, there's no cold weather, there's no winter.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's very nice to travel when it's not winter. Most of the time I travel is winter.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice. Yeah. So you're back to home.
Back home. I was so angered to come home.
Yeah.
I just wanted to be back in Grenada. It's a different vibes.
Mm-hmm. In France, what is the name of that city that's in water again?
That's where?
The city in France. This is in water. Oh my goodness.
Can't remember that one.
Oh, they did the gondolas and all those kind of good things, man. Everything in that city is water, you know. Mm-hmm. The fire truck is a boat, the ambulance is boat. Everything when you go home, the boat drop you right in front of your step.
It's like in Japan.
Yeah, wait.
Huh? Yeah?
Yeah.
Because Japan have an airport on the water, you know that, Leo? Yeah, it's on the sea.
Okay.
In Japan.
No, but this city, I mean, the whole city, what was it? No, I want to France. No. Mm-hmm. Something to see. Everything is water.
Mm-hmm. Oh boy, that's amazing, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but when you go then you travel, you see all these different things.
You got to take a little break sometime and refresh your mind, get out. Don't think about no pet, no dog, or no cat, or no sheep, or no goat. You're just enjoying yourself, having a good drink,
But you just came back, and once you get right back.
Monday. And from the time I come back
in Carriacou.
But not in Carriacou, a lot of work, back up. My everybody calling me, waiting for Dr. Pett.
Yeah.
This dog somewhere down by me. I saw it for the thing. I said I have to take it to Dr. Pett. But it's furry, but all its hair is dropping.
I'll check it out. Don't worry.
Yes. And no mind nobody the upstairs and ain't going, And I could feed this dog.
Getting food to eat.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Pett, you have some work to do, eh?
Yeah. That's a free walk on the house.
Yeah. But you're back in Carriacou, and I know that, the service again, you were missed, because a couple of people called me and asked me about you, and when are you, where are you, and stuff like that. I didn't want to answer too much of it. But
I know.
Unfortunately, one morning on the program,
Kim Jones, let it out. Let go. The ghost, I didn't tell him to say anything,
No, that's because you normally do a program with him, and so you feel committed, to let them know where you are and what's happening.
But the problem is that when we cannot get me straight, that's the problem. They know I'm not in the country.
Right.
So they call me on WhatsApp.
Oh, this WhatsApp, yeah. Because I tell you what, WhatsApp has this good sides, you know.
Yeah.
But it's also causing a lot of people here to be a little more dependent. Because years ago, you had to pay for a call to America.
Yeah.
To ask to bring this or bring that or bring the other. And especially, I ain't talking about everybody. Lazy ones, they want to work.
Yeah. Right.
But no, once they have WhatsApp, just call it.
Yeah.
I'm speaking at length, so what?
So isn't that a good thing?
I didn't say. I said
No. I see you said.
Yeah.
I'm just asking. Isn't that a good thing? Accessibility. So at least instead of having to wait all this time and pass a message to that person and that person.
Yeah, but
you tell me it's a good thing when you're on the receiving end. When you're the person that been called on to bring something. And sometimes, no, it depends on who it is.
But sometimes you can't say no.
You can say no.
But remember in those days when they call in America, it's $5 a minute, you know.
Yeah.
In 2 seconds, they don't talk.
Yeah.
So in other words, because it was costing you to call in those days,
yeah,
the calls would be less.
Yeah, man. Or more infrequent. But
yes.
No.
I know that the next thing about it is that if they were to message you or call you and you didn't respond, they would know.
Yeah.
Depends on your settings, you know. See it now. But you see my message, yeah?
And not only that, when they're speaking to you, they see your face, they're checking your mood.
But the thing about it, Kim, remember before we didn't have to pay for a suitcase and it was 70 pounds. People don't remember that.
Yeah, man.
It was 70 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens now when I travel, I don't tell other people I travel because they always want to bring back something and they tell you a small thing. And I bought something for a lady and she told me it was small, you know. And when I checked the thing, it was about £1.50. So they only give you £50 to travel, and then your suitcase alone probably £2 or more. So by the time you put 2 little things for yourself, you overweight, and you have to leave things back. Yeah, so it's always good. I mean, if somebody real close to me, I will bring it there. But I mean, it's difficult to travel and say that you're traveling these days.
And in our case, boy, when you're small, you're small. Then, you know, going to Europe where there's competition with the airlines, you could fly this one, that one, that one. What the airlines are giving you so much more than our loan. Our loan solely is JetBlue.
Yeah.
JetBlue start feed you again your chips. And they do know what they want, how they want, when they want. So, but you have no choice. You have to accept it.
When I came with the plane, they gave me some sweet biscuit. They say, you're crazy. I don't want that.
You mean on JetBlue?
No, the plane when I came from Europe. They give you little packs of like what you're eating there.
Well, it depends on the duration of the flight.
But that was a dessert. That was a snack.
Yeah, snack.
But you had a good meal.
Yeah, they give you good. But most if you're going to the States, they give you snack. They don't give you meal anymore. In the States, they don't give you meal. When you travel American, they don't give you meal. From Grenada.
Of course, that's what I'm talking about. But when you go to Europe,
it's different.
They feed you, know.
Yeah, but when you're going from JetBlue or American, they don't give you any meal.
No, the competition is not there. See, that's one.
You go quarrel.
They give you a 2 biscuits, and a Sprite or a Coke.
So I said, I'm walking with my lunch and I do not disturb. When she's sleeping, leave me alone. No, can't wake me up to ask me if I want pretzel. Must be crazy.
Do not disturb.
Do not disturb.
Vibes FM, caller.
Right.
Yes.
Just to have that captain. The city you're talking about is Venice.
Venice, correct. Venice. Yes, Venice. Correct. Thank you for that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Venice.
Venice.
Yeah. But I should remember because you should go and experience it. Boy, it's so different.
Well, when I went to Europe, you know, I went passed through most of those countries. Yeah. So you know, I didn't see too much sight. The only one I really remember, you know, is when we got into Switzerland. You know.
Okay.
And brave me, you know, I would decide to go on the tramway over the Alps, you know.
Okay, not you know.
No,
that's too high.
Listen, I did that. Okay. But when you watch down, you know, something else in that. Listen. But the joke about it, listen to this, Solio, in that when I came back to the States, I realized, you know, that there was a tramway also from Roosevelt Island to
correct. To FDR area.
FDR, right? Okay. So I looked at it and I said, I will try to go on that, because about 2 days later, when I looked back there, the cables and everything broke.
Oh God.
And the people who were there, they were basically stuck for a few hours as far as I was told.
Mm-hmm.
From that day, it says tramway.
No way.
No way.
people going to Coney Island on cyclone and all this kind of foolishness. Leo, my extent is the bumper car.
Oh.
That I'm going on nothing else.
Yeah. You're adventurous, man.
No, thank you.
Watch. I've been on all of them there.
The
cyclone and the wonder wheel and the whatever, the hellhole and the whole bunch of them.
Not Leo.
But yeah, but what stopped me is one time when they got stuck.
Forget
we were down there one night and they got stuck up there, boy. And it was a nightmare to get them down because the whole thing collapsed, and these people were basically almost upside down. And I said, you see me? You say, Bambaka, I'm going to Bambaka. Yeah, but it's nice to travel and to get some experience.
Yeah.
It's always good. And when you come back fresh.
Yeah, feel relief, get out from this environment of walk.
Mm-hmm.
No,
but you're still walking, because they call me and ask me for advice every time. I never stop walking in the night. They calling me.
That's the only time you
should I should take off the phone.
Yeah. Leave home without
I can't do that. Some of the clients call you and they ask you questions. They have emergencies. They can't get a vet. At least you could tell them what to do.
Yeah.
More or less,
Well, my redeemer with this year we're sailing,
Yes.
We're sailing, and the region is attending in droves, so we have to be prepared. I'm going to trim up to defend Carriacou. Yeah.
Well, and that's the regatta.
Yeah.
And I've been getting quite a number of calls from the Bakeway Passe.
Yeah.
They are so excited about coming down to Carriacou this year because, as you very well know, to Colin, remember it.
Yeah.
And but there's one name that they mentioned, and I'm telling you now on air. They say we're coming down to whip Solio. They have the boat is, I think it is,
and
Skylar. They have that in the mind. Yes.
But it's you should see it, man. It's a big difference, Those guys have got up to a different level, different rig, and those boats they have engines in them, boy. Sailing.
Well, at one time I saw a video recently of the racing side of Bakeway, and speedboats couldn't keep up with them guys.
No,
honestly.
And guess what? I should make you a little jealous. My buddy, they caught a whale, 45 feet. And my boy, I tell him, I ain't trust the whale too much. So he cooked some. He cooked some and he said, no for me. You think, hey.
So you're not like it so much, but the venture.
No, I never had it. I was worried because people keep telling me that the whale is like purpose and he had and thing like that. Man, the thing was elbow licking good. Yeah, he cooked some whale and sent down. We tried it. Yeah. Got me surprised.
Yeah.
It's stew beef, man.
Yeah. Well, a friend of mine in Bakeway one time we were speaking about whales, and I talked about the whale oil, and this shipped down a whole bottle of oil for me.
Well, when I tasting, every time I take out a bit of half the now, and I warm it up, I'm getting oil to put in the bottle.
Okay.
Yeah, but on the topic of the whale oil, for the listening public, whale oil is very good for asthma, right? If they do not know. I had 2 kids. I have 2 kids. They were 2 years and one. No, not 2 years. They were a few months old, and they one was 1 year and then a few months, and then they had asthma because I suffered from asthma that small. And there was a guy in Springs. He died last year, And he said to me, someone recommended to him for a pint of whale oil. And he said to me, that will work. I said, well, how are you sure that it will work? He said, well, if you do not work, come back for your money.
You can't
come back for your money, Dr. Andrews. So he said, get some garlic. It's whale oil. I think they mix it with garlic.
Okay.
Garlic and whale oil. It's horrible to drink.
Yeah.
So I gave the kids twice and they almost disappear.
Yeah.
Well,
so they disappeared.
Yeah, but that is what we were told, back then, that would get rid of that.
Whale oil and garlic.
Yeah.
It disappeared in no time.
I remember as growing up, when I smelled the oil, I couldn't go close to it.
But it's hard to drink. You vomit. They vomited. You usually say the gal.
Yeah, the gal, yes, yeah.
But it disappeared. I sent all in Australia, all in England, all in America, and they said it worked.
But speaking about going back to you, Solio, and the contingent that's coming down for the regatta from Bigway. D is a large contingent as far as I was told.
I'm telling you.
They are maybe as much as 7 or 8 of those
long
boats,
yes,
open boats that will be coming down.
Those guys, and there's a a resurgence of those long boats, because the guys who they're known as the legends, the old timers, and they really went out and they revived the thing and the competition. Those guys tell you for Easter, they race Sunday, and they race twice again before the other week come up again, just to settle a score.
Yeah.
And it's just nice, but good fun. Good fun.
Those colleagues you have from Tobago, are they coming too?
Yes.
So it's gonna be a nice.
Yeah, it could be a nice event.
Yeah, because I remember once, I never forget it. Quite a few years ago, in the area of Leicester with the long open boats, Bluff and Perseverance.
Yeah.
Were heading to the finish line, nose apart. Listen, inches. When they were finished with the race, they took a picture. And you could have seen maybe just about a foot and a half difference on the boats when they were coming to the finish.
Perseverance is still around,
Yeah?
Yeah, man. As a matter of fact, year and a half ago, Perseverance is a whaling boat.
Oh, okay.
It's easy to catch whales.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Perseverance. But it's still there. Nice as ever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those boats were really, really, really impressive. And the crew and everybody, that was involved in the racing too. They're real racing fans. I mean, they're diehard racers.
You must have known boats like No Offense, but Blackberry, of course.
Yeah.
And no bluff against Double Bluff.
Double Bluff?
Double Bluff, yes. Slip Away.
Yes, right. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, Confusion. My boy Boise, God. What is Boise boat again? My goodness. That beat me now. I remember just now. But on the boats and them, but they changed the rig. Just give an idea, we used to have like probably about 30 feet of mass on a sprit.
Yeah.
But now it's 40 and 42 feet in the sky, So when you go under the boat and you wash up, you get giddy,
Yeah.
So does it make it faster?
Are you kidding? Yes, man. Sure. I tell you what we did, what made our regatta interesting, the boats we sailed are dinosaurs.
Okay.
The rig in its sense is a gaff rig, and we use sand as ballast. So that is known in the industry as sandbaggers.
Okay.
And sandbaggers is what they used to do years ago. We have what we also call a Marconi rig. That's, you see, the newer yachts. They use that type of rig, and we know that your boom don't have to be as long because you go to weather better when you with a short boom, learn all those good things.
Yeah.
But we weren't employing those modern things. So we kept the old rigs so that sailing enthusiasts, when they want to see something historical, that was the attraction.
Right.
But guys, yes, there. Yeah, it's good. So, but it's every time I see it and knowing what a well-organized regatta could do for Carriacou, it pains me to see the direction it's heading.
Well, you can't allow it to go one way and you're not going that way now. You have to be there to direct it. So don't say about it pains you to see it, where it going, yeah. What you say?
We have Methuselah. We have Massima. This one is Leo. I ain't sure I have that much. More than my diameter. I can't put too much more miles in it. I said, so yeah, but this thing should be taught, and not just in the road, but in schools in Caribou.
Well, this is one of the things I've been saying, you know, and that's why when I heard the story about the Marine School that's going to be operating in the Six Roads campus, I think it's going to open up a different era now where we're going to get youngsters getting involved into marine life, and possibly, you know, getting them to be interested in racing as well too, you know, because it all to do with the sea. Knowledge of the sea, maneuvering on the sea. It's a skill.
Yep, of course. There we need that institution. That we all the scuba diving, the building, the naval architecture, all this kind of good stuff should be home to Caribou. Because it's what we know. We're marine seafaring folks.
And if you know, over the last couple of years too, in that any qualifications, you know, as it pertains to seafaring, they had to travel to Trinidad.
But let me tell you, you know, years ago, I mean, when you see one Lintonary Grand Regatta, and you could have a British battleship, a British battleship, a British frigate, an American frigate, and a French minesweeper in Caribou at the same time, you know.
Yeah, you remember that?
What do you mean? And not only that, we had that, and we had the Barbados Coast Guard, Trinidad and Coast Guard. When it's a matter of when you know what you do and you do it well. Linton Rig used to have so many people in Caribou.
And now the beauty about it is that they all had different uniforms, and when they all come ashore
and match pass.
Yes, man. And they did that. You know, I tell you, man.
The only thing, one of the things that affected us, you know, we used to have tug of war.
We didn't understand how to pull the rope.
But not only that, sometimes, you know, a guy has a reputation. He's a bajan, but the vehicles fly.
Yes.
So what are you doing on the rope? I could remember one year they complaining, I'll leave bang bang to pull, I'll take long jack. Why? Remember long jack? Long jack gets that wine. But yeah, bad man reputation.
But let me tell you what I noticed in the tug of war one time, Sergio. Why I know we didn't have the technique of winning is because when they took the strain, and we took strain on the other side too, they pulled it in unison, you know. And they come one. The force coming at you, boom. But we just holding on to the rope.
Yeah, we just pull it back. So you guys go. Everybody. And those British guys, they pull us out the pack.
I never forget it. I never forget it. So the art there, we didn't understand anyway. But it was all in gesture, you know, nice conversation. It was fun. And it was so many people visiting. And like Sergio mentioned, seeing those ships out there in the harbor, right inside of Hillsborough, you know. We're talking about the way out there inside of Hillsborough. Because we have the draft day that can accommodate all these boats with no problem.
And first, I tell at one point in time, when fellas used to get involved in Caribou Regatta, I remember HMS Ulster coming here one year, and those guys bring show all the instruments because they want to complicate if they want to play non-stop with us in town school.
Yeah.
But boy, our instruments was far inferior to those guys. We have a 5-piece drum, those guys have a 10-set drum, drums all around you. So go and make a mistake and tell say it's steady. Yeah, no. Steady, but play with those guys for it and take an off. So Steady might play for a few tunes with them. When Steady come back and he play another drum set, Steady say, I ain't accustomed to this full shit, you know. 5 drums and I don't already accustomed to 10. Just one say to get those guys, but it used to be really, really fun.
Yeah.
But I guess, you know, all these things also encourage the kind of solidarity and camaraderie among people in the region, in this part of the world where we have our interests and our, you know, desires and likes are similar. We like to see, we like to sail, we like to, you know, show our skill in sailing. Yeah. So it's good when we can have these kind of things, and the more we stay away from each other, and you know, we are denying the purpose of coming together as a region, and working together. I mean, you know,
see, it's nothing like doing something you like, and it is a benefit to you. You're not just doing it as a hobby. You have a hobby, but at the same time, economically, it's helping you. And I tell you what, you see those guys from Bakery come down? You know what? Those guys, they having fun, that, and spending money with us.
Yeah.
So, and all the same thing too. So we need to have that.
The bad thing about it, though, you know, is that I was speaking earlier on, is about the boat building. We sort of lost that part of it, and most of the boats now are not been built here. You know, or the skills, the knowledge, and everything like that we had, they didn't pass on, and that is bad.
You should see the boat called Blackberry. You should see that pin job on Blackberry. You could look at Blackberry and come here as a mirror, you know.
Take a lot of pride in that. Yeah. They know how to do it. A lot. I remember once, you know, it was a regatta time, I think, too. There was a boat, I think, that was launched going down into the sands there.
Sea Fortress.
And it's the first time I saw one of these big schooners being launched, you know, when they cut down and they tried to drag it into the water. But Sea Fortress was big enough. I mean, it wasn't that easy to pull out there. But the guys from the battleship came with one of the tenders and connected it to Sea Fortress. Boy, we didn't have to push and pull it in. Just drag it out there. And everybody was so amazed, you know, because we never saw the small boats of the nature, especially with the engine, because the starlights and the other boats, you know, Miriam B and was basically sail boats, you know. And it was amazing when we saw the strength. I mean, they were able to get it out there, you know.
If you notice what Caracou had years ago between Winod and Leicester, like Nova Scotia, you know. The boats you could boast about. And always make reference to Siflin J. I don't know, it had to be a mistake John Caesar made. But the thing is the most beautiful thing, and it thing sailed like it was all blue nose.
And the beauty about it back then too is that you drive anywhere, Hillsborough, Windward, whatever, there was always a boat under construction. In other words, you know,
it's a annual thing or a monthly thing.
So earlier, you remember that boat Yankee Girl? It looked like a yacht.
That's them Robert.
You remember that boat?
Yankee Girl, like Urban.
It looked like a yacht.
Yeah, but Urban Robert.
You know, as one of the things I cherished, I'm still cherishing. You know, Yankee Girl. I stayed for that boat.
Oh, you were a godfather?
Yeah. I mean, I think that was the only time I did. But I mean, up to now, I just can't fully understand all the things that were staying for a boat.
Yankee Girl was different, you know.
That's a beautiful boat.
But not only beautiful, it was beautifully kept. You won't go with the dirty foot on Yankee Girl, you know. You got to be careful to go alongside Yankee Girl. Urban Roberts.
Yeah.
It was more like a yacht.
Yeah. It's a sloop. Yeah. Big sloop.
Yeah, boy. Staying for...
Tinged in red
yes,
and white.
Red.
I remember that. That little boy.
Before Yankee Girl, he had...
Mermaid?
No, it's a famous mermaid. He had the Boo-Boo. He had a Dynastar.
Yes.
I remember that.
No,
yes.
He had a Dynastar.
Boy.
We had two in one, a Dynastar and a Dynamac. One was a school, one was a sloop.
Yeah, boy.
Those days. Let me see if I have a caller before we wrap up. Vibes FM, caller, is there a caller online? Caller? Okay, no. Okay, right. Okay, so we just got back here. All right, great, yeah. So, gentlemen, I'm looking at the time, and we just have time for us to wrap it up. You know? But, Dr. Pitts, you know, you are in Caracou, whenever you come to Caracou, and you always making an impact. People appreciate your service, and I want to commend you on that. You know, we look forward to you being here and serving the people because the need is there for your service.
Well, once I come to Carrick, when I have this spare time, I come to Vibes, and people say, "Oh, I hear you on Vibes," you know. I say, "Really? Man, you was great."
Yeah, but we hope that ain't get you in trouble because you start getting phone calls after that. You know?
No, I don't think so. I like to say, I like to big up Miss Jordan in Winwood. She always listening.
Yeah.
She's well, every minute. I'm sure she's listening now. She said, "Dr. Pet, I hear you. Don't think I don't hear you, you know."
Well, you see, Dr. Pet suit the saying, he cut for that.
That's it.
He cut for that. That's his
Hey,
thing,
little
boys.
children, the listener, radio say, I say, I was on the radio. He said, "I know your voice."
Yeah.
But we always said that whenever you feel like dropping by, you know, you want to get some message out there, feel free to come by.
They want some free half an hour at least to make a big impact.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in keeping my reading before we close, I'd like to request some time for us a regatta special. The guys who are the younger guys, so we could ask some questions and teach some people a few things.
What I would suggest, you know,
Mhm.
if possible, we could do it next week on the program.
Sure.
Because I could accommodate them on Zoom. We could, you know,
Yes.
and I could take as many calls too as possible. We could 4 in here and maybe up to 10 on Zoom.
Yeah.
And we could be doing a dialogue because I think it's important now
Mhm.
that we come into the home stretch, if I would
Yeah.
use that word,
And get into the spirit.
and get into the spirit. Yeah.
Yeah.
of the
Okay.
regatta.
So, well, I'll spread the word.
Spread the word.
And for those of you listening, hey, Mr. Floyd. Floyd, Richard, and you. Next week is a lecture.
Yeah, they listen. They always listen.
Yeah, always listen.
And they are, I mean, die hard.
Yeah. Well, they haven't. They have regatta in Pennsylvania, you know.
Yeah, I saw some videos of them the last time, you know. And you'd imagine that they would take the sport, bring it into the US.
Yeah, and send me some footing and the background music is open lala.
Yeah.
What you want to take up lala and put quite in Pennsylvania with it? Yeah. That's good.
But it's also a pleasure, okay?
Yes, sir.
And Koi, finally, your quick word.
Yes, well, my quick word is quick.
That's it?
That's it.
It could be better than that. Okay.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and guests and not the views of this radio station.
And that will just wrap up our program for today right here on Vibes FM. We want to thank you so much for your participation. Those of you who called, those of you who listened, whatever way you made a contribution to the program is always welcome and appreciated. I'm your humble servant, yours truly, Kim the King. It's always a pleasure. Until next time, and a reminder, we do a rebroadcast of our programs in the evening times. Just stay tuned to Vibes FM.